Play about to commence here at Carrara. As we've said a couple of times, great weather. Withers takes it after Warren Jones had won first tap. It comes out to tackle too high against Banfield. Kicked off the ground by Dixon, and we see Micken drive the ball forward towards the half-forward line. Couldn't be taken by Mark Williams. He gets a quick hand pass forward. Bernie Harris couldn't quite get the ball clear, and we'll find play a little bit frustrated because Bernie Harris had the ball around McConville's legs. So a bounce will take place 45 metres out from the Bears' goal. The Bears kicking, well, the breeze is really coming across the ground more than anything, not really favouring either end. The loose ball picked up by Banfield. The hand pass out to Carlson, almost thrown out. Frawley comes through, forces it forward. It's picked up by Gotch. Gotch floats the ball in towards the centre. Lowe leads in the race for the ball, gets an awkward bounce, but taps it down towards Evans. Evans, a hand pass, finds Burns. Straight away, he puts it out to Corker-Mealis. A little bit slow to get rid of it, but now with the left foot, drives it out wide. McCarthy playing at full back in hot pursuit of Lockett. Lockett now thinks about the hand pass, straightens up, gets away from them easily, goes across the ground. Too high for John Peter-Budge, and it's picked up by Carlson. The short kick doesn't make any distance at all. Nathan Burke taps it wide. It's picked up there by Neil. Neil towards goal, but Reynoldson's in the way to take a timely mark.
Stephen Reynolson. Oh, across to Gibson was very, very dangerous player. Away goes Gibson. A very good game last week. And there's two Queenslanders combining there because taking a diving mark is Darren Carlson in the back pocket. A hand pass further afield. Matthew Campbell looks for Rains. Jeff Rains, centre of the ground. Michael Richardson couldn't take it. He goes in after it again, though. Trevor Barker, though, the umpires found a free kick, though, to Mike Richardson behind the play. And Michael Richardson will take this on centre wing. Played a very good last half. Michael Richardson against Geelong last week. Kenny Judge into the play very early. A beautiful chip pass across to Bernie Harris. Off he goes. No, he doesn't. The umpire, there's Frawley doing a lot of the umpiring there himself. A little chip pass across. Finds Mark Withers. Withers brings it to Big Micken, and he's marked it. Oh, good play, Mark Withers. Intelligent play from the boundary line. Chipped it across. Barry, that was good thinking.
That was good play, Peter, and bad play on behalf of St Kilda defence there, not picking Withers up. He was on his own for quite some time, and that's probably going to cost them a goal here, I think.
Micken makes no mistake about that, and it'll be a real confidence booster for the Bears. And they were chock full of confidence last week. A great win against Geelong, and I think a lot of people criticised Geelong and didn't give enough credit to the Bears for last week's performance. A few changes out there. We've got Frawley out at centre half back, picking up O'Keefe, who was lined up at centre half forward because McCarthy has gone to full back against Lockett, and that means that McConville is at full back against Cameron O'Brien.
Well, Peter McConville, what a fantastic year he's had. Had a couple of games out through injury, but gee, when he's played, he has performed magnificently. And the Carlton people aren't happy the fact they let him go. Now there's a hand pass to Frank Coughlin. Back it comes to Rains. Rains, oh, it's smothered off the boot. That was good play by Coughlin, the smothering Carlson's kick. Burns to Robert Neal. Neal over the top. That was a lovely hand pass to Tony Evans. He's got a ton of speed, this young player. Corker-Mealis, former Carlton player. Now, is that a free kick? It's in the back. It's an umpire Forster. The two umpires today are umpires Forster and, of course, Peter Cameron, a very experienced umpire. Now, Corker-Mealis, a brilliant game last week against Fitzroy. Chips it across to Lockett. That was beautiful football. And I think Mike McCarthy is going to be in a lot of trouble unless he plays 5 metres in front of Lockett. Lockett leads beautifully. He's kicked 68 for the season. He's a very strong player, and Barry, there's no way known you can play him from behind.
Not Tony Lockett, Peter. He's a very strong player, very strong overhead, and uses his body extremely well.
Barry, what do you think of Darryl Borlock's opinion that he would be a better centre half forward?
Well, I think centre half forwards are very hard to find. It's always tempting to play him there, but I think full forward is his best spot. I think his mobility really is best suited to full forward.
Well, there's the kick from Lockett, and it's a goal.
It's a great goal from Lockett, and he is also, amongst other things, a great kick of the football.
Well, there he is, Tony Lockett, and what a great start for him, because that'll give him plenty of confidence. And when you're full forward, if you can get a couple of goals early, it makes a big difference. Tony Lockett, 87 VFL games, and he is 100 a season goal kicker. There's no doubt about that. Was goal number 69 for the year.
Tony Lockett now with the one goal lead over the Swans full forward Warwick Kappa, but Kappa of course not playing this weekend, with over the next 3 weeks 2 rounds being played, so every team gets a break. I personally think it's an excellent idea at this time of the year, because most players need either a physical or mental break. 5.5 minutes into the first term. Warren Jones wins the tap. It's taken by Coughlin. He was tackled too high, pushed in the back according to umpire Peter Cameron, and Coughlin comes out with the ball. Coughlin, a player St Kilda think very highly of, puts it forward where Lowe's in the front position, punched away by Reynoldsson, tapped on by Micken. Bradley Gotch got an awkward bounce. Banfield, who I think is going everywhere with Corcomelis, puts it wide, finds Ken Judge. Judge from the half-back line, and desperate effort by Barker to smother it, but he couldn't get it. It came out there to Banfield, back to Judge. Judge goes goalward, offline, 1 point the result.
Just looking at the flags, there's Kenny Judge, 1 goal, 1 to 1 goal. I was looking in the flags, and they certainly seem to be favouring the end that the Bears are kicking to, but they were kicking goals in the early game very easily. There's Neil at both ends of the ground, so it won't have a great influence on the game. Corcomelis from half-back flank to centre wing. Some strong play. That was Campbell crashing his way over the top of the pack and forces it over the line. Brad Hardy hurt his shoulder during the week, and that's unfortunate for the Bears, because his experience and cleverness, he went off in the last few minutes last Sunday, so maybe he hurt his shoulder last week. There's Campbell copping one in the back. Matthew Campbell, a very talented player. This player had an excellent year for the Bears, up towards the half-forward line. That's almost a mark to Richardson. It's Coughlin getting it away, grabbed by Mark Withers. His cleverness will be a very, very deciding factor in this game. He strides towards... Now, that's a free kick up the field, I think. It went through for goal,
I think it'll go back, and could be a St Kilda free kick, I would imagine. In fact, I think it's a report. I'll be very surprised if Dale Dixon, I think it might be, is not reported for striking Nathan Burke. And, well, Nathan Burke to get the free kick.
Well,
so
it's a bad blue, Bob, because that went through for a goal.
Well, these are the things that happen as Burns takes the mark. Well-placed kick. Burns puts it up towards centre wing. Showed a lot of courage to come back looking the wrong way, but it was Waterson who puts it across to Micken. A floating kick goes back, and Greg Burns, well, you needn't worry about the courage of Burns. He always keeps his eye on the ball. Gets it across. Rice with a hand pass. Out to Trevor Barker. Barker with a long kick towards a half-forward line. Campbell uses his body beautifully and takes the mark.
Well, I'm looking forward to that duel. Campbell against Nicky Winmar, who's had a great year. And, well, Nicky will have to play well on Campbell, who did very well on Gary Ablett last week against the Cats. Micken, oh, the big fly. I don't think he should have been flying there, Michael Richardson, because waiting over the back was Coughlin. Coughlin to Lowe, a slips catch on half-forward. Stuart Lowe straightens up. Left foot, Lockett. Oh, he's got his name written all over this. Almost a mark. Grabbed off the pack by Marcoux, off the side of the boot. Going for it was Waterson. Should have marked that one. Gibson crashes his way through. It's still in play as Alex Marcoux's got it. He ducks and weaves. Gets in the hand pass to Winmar. Winmar straightens up, fires a goal, and has he kicked it? Yes, a great goal to Nicky Winmar.
There again we see the skills of Nicky Winmar. Just that left foot snap after a handball from Marcoux, and really great ball skills Nicky Winmar has got, as we see here on the replay. Marcoux under pressure, gets it across to Winmar, has a quick look at the goals and doesn't make any mistake. He's going to be a sensational player, Nicky Winmar. If
we get a chance, we'll just mention a piece of, well, trivia you might call it, about Nicky Winmar. 7 points to 12. 5 points to margin in favour of the Saints. Rains, after getting the tap from Micken, taken by Withers. He was grabbed by the foot. Cool play on by the umpire, because Withers went on with the game. Drives it forward. That's a lovely mark in defence. A fine mark. Backing back to take an excellent mark on that occasion was David Grant. So Grant formerly from City South in Tasmania. Still only 20 years of age, so quite a future there. Punched away by Philip Walsh, playing on the half-back line. Dixon across to Withers. Withers gets past, gives the hand pass out to Banfield, and the two left-footers driving it forward up towards Cameron O'Brien. Can't quite take the mark. It's through to Bernie Harris. Fumbled the first time, recovers now. Breaks the tackle, straightens up, goes towards goal. Full launches it from Bernie Harris.
That broke a couple of weak St.Kilda tackles. He fumbled the ball early, and then a very fine snapshot for goal, but not under a great deal of pressure from St.Kilda defence, as we see here on the replay. And just a quick snap at the goals and straight through the middle. Very interesting game to date, Bobby.
Yes, but as you said, it was a couple of disappointing tackles by the Saints there. From the centre, Warren Jones wins the tap. Low, a hand pass over the top. He's looking for Marcoux. Marcoux takes it. His tackle, we're not in possession of the ball, and Carlson was able to get the short kick in. It goes out wide. Evans slides in underneath it. The hand pass comes from Evans out now, and Scratch O'Neill puts the ball across towards half forward. I think Withers fell for the three-card trick. Leave it. I'm not sure. Surely he would have gone in with more desperation otherwise, as Gotch puts it forward, and Lockett takes the mark. 25 metres out. Well, it looks as though he might prove a handful, Barry, for Mike McCarthy.
I think Peter Knights has probably got to do something pretty smartly about Tony Lockett. I think he's got too much strength for McCarthy. McCarthy's got the height, but Lockett's certainly so much stronger than McCarthy at this stage, and started the game extremely well.
Tony Lockett, 1 goal to his credit so far. Both sides with 2 goals on the board. The Bears holding a 1-point lead because they've kicked 1 point as well. So Tony Lockett, the opportunity of putting St Kilda in front and kicking his second goal. And goal number 70 for the year for Tony Lockett it is.
Having a look at replay here, Tony Lockett's mark once again showing how strong Tony Lockett is, and just holding back Michael McCarthy, and even then taking a strong mark over his head as well. That was a great mark from Lockett.
Well, it's great to see a full forward, a proper full forward down there, showing his great skills. And well, Mike McCarthy will battle back. He's a real goer, Mike McCarthy. 2-1-13 to 3 goals straight, so I'm really looking forward to that duel. I still think he really does have to play in front. He was on that occasion, but he didn't back into Lockett. Lockett was able to just shove him out of the way. It's on centre wing. There's a hand pass coming out to Barker. Barker to half forward. Philip Walsh to Withers, who was grabbed when he didn't have it. Umpire let it go, and it will be a bounce on half-back flank now. See where the ruckman, well, Lower's actually going to do the ruck work, I think, for the Saints. Yes, he's coming down. I think Reynoldsson might have to do it for the Bears. He does. Lowe gets it to Marcoux, looking for Barker, who went in hip and shoulder. Good play, Trevor Barker. Terrific football. To Burns, to Corker Mealis. Now Lockett's calling for it. He's there, but he does the shepherding to allow Lowe to come through, and Waterson was also there. Waterson handballs away. Gotch and Burns. Kenny Judge is a long way down from the half-forward line. He's actually almost in the back pocket. Try and pick up as the quarter goes on where he's actually playing. He might have followed Trevor Barker down there, or vice versa. Towards centre wing, David O'Keefe's been in good form in recent weeks, and he marks on centre wing. O'Keefe
gets the lead from Withers. Good placed kick. Withers plays on, breaks the tackle, goes across. A 2-out duel. McConville punches the ball away from O'Brien. Recovers first, gets a hand pass into Rice. Rice with a quick hand pass finds Scratch O'Neill, who drives the ball out wide towards the half-back flank. Evans leads in the race for the ball. Traps it well. Shows a good turn of speed. Throws the ball out in front of him. Good play, Evans, and he really does show a turn of speed. Comes up towards the half-forward line. Little chip kick over the top, wasn't well placed. Winmar comes out with it, though. The pack starting to form. Rains grabbed by the foot, and Jeffrey Rains will take the free kick for the Brisbane Bears and a 15-metre penalty. Jeff Rains, 195 games with 3 clubs before he joined the Bears, and now 209 games to his credit, as we find Carlson accepting the hand pass and driving it up along, but that's a lovely mark by young Rice. So Dean Rice taking it in the last line of defence, in the back pocket, about 45 metres out from goal. Up towards the centre. Micken used his body well, allows the ball to come through from Rains. A beautiful tackle by Coughlin. Richardson can't quite get the ball clear, but he was able to tap it to Banfield, who put it on to Gibson. Gibson now with a hand pass to Carlson. The Bears going forward. Carlson looks for Richardson, but he gets intercepted by Rice. Rice with a hand pass out. And we find St Kilda getting out of trouble now through Neal. Not a well-placed kick. Sees Waterson out in front. Dribbles it along the ground. Over the boundary line it goes. And a throw-in to take place on centre wing.
I think already we can see that this is going to be a pretty even game. Season's hit-outs, 24 to Brisbane, the average, to 19 St Kilda. And I think Micken has had an excellent year. Marcoux to Corker Millis, two former Carlton players combining to half-forward Lockett. Gee, that's good
talking there. Now, Lowe could have taken that.
Well, there's Lockett, a beautiful pass. Oh, magnificent football, Lockett. Beautiful pass to little Bradley Gotch.
It's about time a full forward go to a rover.
Well, I think, full forwards have got skills normally, Bob, as you can see there. Beautiful kick that was. And here's little Bradley. He kicked 7 last week, former Fitzroy player. He's only 40 metres out. He chips it high and it floats through, I think. Yes, a lovely goal.
Another goal to Bradley Gotch following on the fine work from last week. As Peter said, he kicked 7 last week and was one of St Kilda's better players. But again, Lockett featuring in that piece of work there, and just how valuable he is to that St Kilda side.
Look at that pass.
What a magnificent kick that was. And Gotch just had to stand there and accept it. But he can do everything, Lockett. I think he probably could play centre-half forward, Bob.
And Brad Gotch went across to Port Adelaide. Centre bounce, 13 to 24. No clear tap. Micken gets it the second time. Rains puts a long kick up towards half forward. McConville out in front. It's punched down by O'Brien. Taken by Williams. A good tackle. Sees the hand pass come out to Bernie Harris. Straightens up and from immediately in front. Right through the centre by Bernie Harris.
That's the second goal there. And once again, some very ordinary tackles by St Kilda's defenders, and that's the second goal that Harris has got. If we just watch it, the replay here, it's punched away from Peter McConville, picked up by Mark Williams. He handballs the ball clear, and Harris gets past 2 St Kilda players there, and just not good defence from the young St Kilda defenders. Must really improve that side of their game if they're going to continue on.
Well, I'm pleased to see Bernie Harris up in the forward pocket. I reckon with the Fitzroy Footy Club, he will kick many, many goals playing in that forward pocket. A real goal sneak. Big Wow Jones getting it across to Nathan Burke. Burke to half forward. Gotcha. He's a bit little there. Caught the centre of the pack. And ducking back was Philip Walsh to take the mark. He's from half back. He brings it to centre wing. The big flyers were there. Richardson cleverly weighted over the back. That's the way to rove it. And he chips it short. Not a good kick. He's looking for his former Collingwood teammate Mark Williams. Williams is caught. But gets in the hand pass to Richardson. Oh, around the neck. Yes, a very crude tackle that by Danny Frawley. And Mike Richardson from half forward flank.
He ducked the head, though.
Kick. Oh, it was still a crude tackle, though, Bob.
Well, it's a bit hard when you're running straight at a guy and then he ducks the head.
Oh, have a look at that.
He ducked the head.
It was a free kick.
I think it was a free kick.
No doubt.
So Mike Richardson, very close to the boundary line, 45 metres out. Puts it up into the square. And pack up, no mark taken. And we find Alex Marcoux coming out with it for St Kilda. Puts it wide. Oh, too high for Nathan Burke and Mark Williams. And we might mention to the viewers around Australia, number 48 there for St Kilda, young Nathan Burke. Could have been playing this last week, right on the screen there, with the Teal Cup side down there in Hobart. Still under 17 years of age and could have been playing in the Teal Cup. But any wonder he's out here. It's Bernie Harris who takes it from Gibson, who tapped the ball forward. Bernie Harris puts it across goal. Cameron O'Brien keeps it in play, steadies, snaps towards goal. Bernie Harris takes the mark.
I saw Bernie Harris one day at Collingwood playing against Collingwood, roving and in the forward pocket. Now there's a 15-metre penalty. He's going to kick this from 2 metres. I saw him kick 4 goals in the first quarter. He was a real little goal sneak, and he's already kicked 2 and a chance for his third. This is a terrific game of football. This is a very even contest as we expected. And, well, this should be his third. There's the kick. A goal.
Another goal to Bernie Harris. He's becoming a bit of a problem down there for the St Kilda defenders, and someone very shortly is going to have to start playing fairly close to Harris, or he could cause a lot of damage.
Do you think of moving Rice away at this stage?
Not quite at this stage, but I think he just needs some instructions that he's got to go with Harris and not go where he thinks the ball is going to go, but
maybe he can't handle
stick in Bernie's pocket. I think he can. Rice is not a bad player. He's played pretty well the last few weeks, and I think he's got the ability to do it, but just losing concentration at the moment.
Bernie Harris, formerly recruited from Fitzroy. In fact, Bernie Harris played 46 games with Fitzroy as the pack. It's very hard to get it out. Carlson does so to Withers, doing well in this first quarter. Withers drives it forward. McConville up with O'Brien. Neither could take the mark. Forcing the ball out to McConville now with good play was Grant. McConville a hand pass on now to Frawley, who doesn't take it. McConville picks it up. Well tackled. A beautiful tackle by Cameron O'Brien.
It was a top tackle, that. Barry's looking at me as if he didn't have enough time, but there's the kick in the pocket. Richardson, no, play on. Everyone stopped, and he's called play on, and Richardson even thought he'd been paid the mark. O'Brien goes in after.
Now that should have been a free kick if he was consistent.
Well, there's the kick coming back towards Withers. Dee Withers has impressed me in this first quarter. Over it goes to Walsh, back to Mark Withers. He's a real little goer, Mark Withers. Kicks it high. Now, who's there? Peter McConville. Here's the player I admire. I reckon he's tremendous, McConville.
Well, you get many arguments with that. A lion-hearted trier. And whether it was at Carlton or at St.Kilda, he's always given his best.
I don't think they should ever let him go, Bob.
Not a bad reject.
I don't think he was actually a reject in some regards, as Robert Neal puts the ball high in the air. Lowe was in front, was punched away. It's taken by Gotch. Gotch, a hand pass wide, looking for Nathan Burke. He punches the ball on. Philip Walsh is first on the scene for the Bears. Hand passes back to Dixon, across to Withers. Withers swings on the left foot and drives the ball in towards the centre-half forward position. Danny Frawley was in front, was punched away from he. A good piece of shepherding by Mark Williams allows Bernie Harris to go in. Snaps towards goal. Well, it bounced the right way. It bounces back and it's punched through for 1 point.
I thought if that had bounced through, it would have been Bernie Harris's day, I think.
I think it's Bernie Harris's day anyway. We still must do something about Bernie Harris very quickly.
Well, there he is. His brother, of course, Leon. Great player for the Fitzroy club. Bernie spent most of his time at Fitzroy in the forward pocket. Didn't let it get a lot of goes on the ball. Back pocket is Trevor Barker. Been a great club man. 206 VFL games, and I'll tell you what, there hasn't been too many bad ones by Trevor Barker. Half-back is Nathan Burke, who Bobby was speaking about a moment ago, and the quick kick goes over the line. I noticed Joffa Cunningham. There's Darren Carlson coming off the ground, but Joffa Cunningham, Brenton Phillips on, but Joffa Cunningham's warming up there, Bobby. I think they'll whack him on shortly.
It does look that way. There's Corker Millis, gets it across to Burke. A floating kick, an awkward one to Mark. Lowe almost took it. Winmark came in, but Reynoldsson got the hand pass out to Gibson. On he goes now with it to Walsh, who drives the ball in towards the centre of the ground. Frawley punches the ball away from O'Keefe, but it's all Bears as Dixon gets the hand pass across to Bernie Harris. He hooked it wide. Was looking for Cameron O'Brien. O'Brien traps the ball beautifully, swings out onto the left foot, has time to steady, goes towards goal. It's across the face of goal, and I think out of bounds on the full.
He's got great skills, Cameron O'Brien, Bob.
Look, I really think that he might develop into an excellent player as Jeff Cunningham waits to come on. And Cunningham, 28 years of age, formerly from Golden Point, has been around with St.Kilda for quite some time and been a great player. As Rice is the player to come off for Cunningham. Cunningham on as a beautiful tackle by Burke, but he did have the ball trapped as well, and Withers having no chance of getting rid of the ball. So it looks as though Joffa Cunningham might have the job. No, I think Cunningham could go onto the wing and maybe scratch a kneel down onto Bernie Harris. How do you see that move, Barry?
I think Scratch is quite capable of doing a job, Bob, but they're really missing a
quick hand pass. It comes out to Richardson, up across to Williams. Williams goes forward. Full points.
They're moving the ball well down that forward line at the moment, the Bears, Bob, and I think Richardson's having a good game with us, playing well, and with Harris kicking goals, there's a few dangers down there for the Saints, as we see here on replay. With us again involved in the play, and he's had a fine first quarter. Handball across to Richardson. Handball again, and then a goal to Williams.
While all that was going off, O'Brien ran off the ground. Rod McPherson onto the ground.
Bobby, they've got Mark Williams, Cameron O'Brien off the ground. Mark Williams playing at full forward.
They've got a loose man in defence at the moment as Bradley Gotch comes through, puts the ball out wide. Winmar and Campbell. Campbell punches the ball away. Evans leads in the race for the ball for St Kilda. Swings back onto the left foot, goes out wide. Reynolds couldn't quite trap it. It ran past McPherson. Dixon gets the hand pass towards Reynolds. It was a bit quick for him and he couldn't quite handle it, but he does well to get the hand pass now. Waterson goes short. Couldn't be taken by Judge, but he's still able to get the good play by Barker, and we find a free kick has been found. It'll go to Ken Judge. He was tripped, gets the lead. Oh, they're all Bears running everywhere as Dixon takes it, drives the ball straight down the ground. Micken in front. The ball punched away. O'Keefe comes after it, so too Frawley. O'Keefe's in underneath it, players diving in on top of him, and so the umpire Foster decides to come in and bounce the ball about 30 metres out from the Bears' goal. Bench of the Bears, Cameron O'Brien. And the kick average for the season, not much in it. St Kilda slightly ahead. Big nut pack of players around the bounce. Hard to get clear, and I think the umpire will have no option but to come in and bounce it once again. Umpires Gary Forster, Peter Cameron. From the bounce, Micken got the tap down. Williams, well smothered by Neal. The loose ball goes towards goal. McConville was tackled too high for mine, but he's been penalised for holding the ball. The umpire saying he should have gone through with it. Well, that really, people often have a go at players when they tap the ball through for a point, but in this case, McConville chose not to, and it could cost a goal.
Well, there he ducked the head, as we said earlier. Mike Richardson, Bobby thought Mike Richardson did, so the umpire said he was holding the ball. It's right in front and should be a goal here to Mark Williams for his second from right in front. Oh, he hooked it. That's a bad kick. That is a shocker from there, Barry.
Should never miss those, Peter, and a little bit of inconsistency from the umpires there, I feel.
Well, 5-3 plays 4 goals, and, well, Brisbane Bears looking very, very good. There's a mark. No, I thought he grabbed it on the second bite, and he hadn't. Across it comes to McCarthy. Up towards, there's McConville playing in front. He's a good player. Off he goes, a long hand pass. Winmar a long way away from the forward line. Hand pass from Winmar is out to Gotch. He's got great skills, Gotch. Oh, desperate play from Walsh. Gee, Bobby, he's had a great year, Philip Walsh.
I notice he's playing half-back flank today, and so Withers on the wing, Walsh on a half-back flank, and so far it's been a good move. Low, up high in the ruck, Banfield floats the ball forward. Coughlin and Neal almost collided with each other. O'Keefe came out with the ball. Walsh, big fellow Jones, got it out to Neal. He floats it forward. Campbell punches the ball away. Gott swoops on it. Has plenty of time. Runs through the sports play local. Puts it across, and Greg Burns has taken the mark. Greg Burns puts it down forward. Low in front. Lockett from behind. Neither player could take the mark. Corker-Mealis trying to get it out. And a push in the back. A little bit technical for mine. I reckon a little bit lucky to get it up there.
Well, they nearly always play that in the back. I'd like to see that in replay again. What do you reckon, Barry?
I think that might have been a square off the one up the other end of the ground, Pete. Here we look on replay here. Oh, well, it's a little bit technical, I suppose you could say. He pushed it in the back.
I think any tackle from behind, there must be an element of in the back. And
That's
I think
right.
most umpires pay that one. I don't know whether they should. As we see, John Peter-Budge is off. That's a shocking kick too. But a bit of breeze, I think. It was a pretty ordinary-looking kick. John Peter-Budge is off the ground, and Andrew Manning on the ground. Geez, solid Manning, isn't he? But there's the bench of St Kilda. Ross Smith, the Brownlow medalist, on the far right, the runner. I wonder if there is a bit of a breeze factor after slight breeze, favouring the end that the Bears are kicking to, I think. But that was a very poor kick. There's the ball being brought back into play by Brenton Phillips to half-back. Corker-Mealis taps it to Winmar, who was caught, and the umpire said he was held after he lost the ball, Nicky Winmar, so he'll take the free kick at centre-half forward. Winmar, I'm looking forward to this contest. I reckon Campbell's playing him very, very closely, and he's got as much skill as Winmar has, so that'll be a great contest. There's the pass. That is beautiful football, that. Well, they've taken McCarthy away from Lockett, a very early move, and put Gibson there. I don't know whether I agree with that.
I don't know whether Gibson's got the ability to handle Lockett, Peter.
He did a great job last week against Linda, but then, you know, I think I'd rather play on Linda than Lockett.
Different sort of
player. At least
player.
McCarthy is a very experienced player, like a Hawthorn Premiership player.
Well, hang on, we did say earlier that McCarthy was having trouble with him.
Yes, but he kicked 2 goals. I think you leave a bloke on a bit longer than that. There's the kick, and it's a goal to Tony Lockett, his 3rd.
Well, Lockett's certainly keeping St Kilda in the game at the moment, and they did lose a little bit of momentum there for a little while, as we see on replay. Once again, the free kick to Nicky Winmar, who did get rid of the ball and was not let go in that tackle. And then a lovely short pass to Tony Lockett, and a great lead he is too. And look at that, just no chance for Gibson to full back.
Part of the art of playing full forward is knowing just when to lead, and a lot of people don't realise that. They think it's easy for a forward, but it's knowing when to make that lead that makes all of the difference.
Micken's having a rest. That maybe they're playing McCarthy in the ruck just to give Micken a rest down the forward pocket, Bob.
Well, it was a move that worked very well last week, and I think with O'Brien off the ground, they lack a bit of height up there. Corcomelis puts the ball forward, but the siren sounds, and at quarter time we see the Brisbane Bears 5-3-33, leading by 2 points over St Kilda, 5-1-31. Second quarter about to begin, 2 points to margin in favour of the Brisbane Bears. Jones against Micken. Jones gets a tap over the back, tapped on by Coughlin. Likewise Lowe. Lowe gets it out to Gotch. Gotch tackled, tripped actually, and so he will take the free kick. It's Brad Gotch. Gotch will be looking for Lockett. Goes long down the ground. Lockett coming across. Can't quite take the mark. Tap wide by Campbell. Over the line it goes, and the throw-in will take place.
I was watching Lockett very closely then. That was tremendous. He signalled behind the back of McCarthy for Gotch to kick it to the left or to the right of screen as you look, and there he is doing the ruck work too. A beautiful hand pass to Marcoux. That was great play by the Saints, and a goal, and that was excellent play by Manning.
And also Tony Lockett, that was a great thump from that boundary line throw-in, and just again shows what value he is to St Kilda, as we see on the replay. A fisted ball back into the centre of the ground, handball to Marcoux and into the open goal. Lockett is in everything at the moment.
St Kilda's got 2 guys in the key forward positions. Young Stuart Lowe is only 19 years of age from Mount Eliza. He can go for and do the ruck work, and to have a full forward and centre half forward both capable of doing it is a big plus.
And Stuart Lowe, he's built like Arnold Schwarzenegger, isn't he? He's
how do you say that?
I once tried again. I got it the first time. There's the hand pass from Gotch across to Bird. Lockett will mark this. Oh, gee, that's good play. Beautiful football, the Saints. Good play, Lockett.
Back there, Pete.
Yes, and well, I think he went into the ruck to give Mark Micken a spell. But look at that, just that gentle little push out. Tremendous full forward play. That great play from the Saints out of the centre. Well, he's already kicked 3. Could be in for a big day. Well, we saw. Did we see kick double figures here a couple of weeks ago? We trying to think who it was now. My memory's slipping.
Well, we're doing a few games of football these days.
Yeah, I'll think about it in a moment. Anyway, Lockett from right in front for goal number 4, and he puts it through. Well, there he is. Jason Dunstall, of course, is the player I was thinking about with 11 goals.
Queenslander, formerly from Cooperoo, so it must have hurt the Queenslanders to see Dunstall kicking those goals, and what strength Hawthorn have shown. That Dunstall since then hasn't kicked too many, but Hawthorn have kicked a lot. Well,
I think we're in for a great contest with the goal kicking too. Lockett, Dunstall, and of course Kappa. Well, that's a great start to the quarter, this by the Saints. And as I said, they look more dangerous in attack than what the Bears do with Lockett down there. Centre of the ground. Oh, look at the strength of Burns. He crashes his way out. Where's Tony Lockett? No. It's off the side of the boot. Back went Campbell. Nicky Winmar's in after it. He's caught. It's in the hand pass, but Campbell was there to grab it. It's grabbed by Evans. A little chip pass. Now, I think he's put it out of bounds on the full, and he
did try and hook it around. He knew exactly what he wanted to do there, trying to get it to Winmar, but it just didn't quite come off. So Mike McCarthy. Evans showing a bit of talent out there and a good turn of speed. Micken in front. Can't quite take the mark. Campbell, and not Campbell, Cunningham it was, who forced the ball out the line. He just gives Mike Richardson a little shove, just a friendly tap to say, hello, Mike, I'm out here. From the throwing. Low against Reynoldsson. Coghlan, hand passes forward. Evans comes through. The quick hand pass from Evans. Punched away by Campbell. Taken by Coghlan. Kept in play. Well done. Over the top there with strong defensive work. We saw Gibson, and it was good defensive work by Mike Gibson, and it caused the boundary throw-in to take place almost 50 metres out on the defensive line. Lowe wins the tap. Taken by Winmar. He had no chance of getting rid of the ball, and the umpire. It's a good tackle, though, nonetheless, by Peter Banfield. But Winmar had no chance at all, so a bounce must be the one to take place.
I think Matthew Campbell's playing, Bobby, a very, very disciplined game on Winmar. He's wearing him like a glove, and that's good defensive play because he's really a talented player himself. There's Corcamilas going in after it. It's in that forward pocket, but the Saints, who have looked very dangerous early in this quarter. There's Carlson taking it over the line, but, well, it's 43 to 33. There's Rod McPherson, the former Footscray player, about to come on the ground. Hand pass comes to Gotch. He cleverly gets it back now. Look at Lockett. Oh, he's out-strengthened on that occasion by McCarthy. That was a good effort by McCarthy, and he gets a free kick.
And she was saying how Campbell's doing a great job against Winmar, but that was a great effort that time by McCarthy in defence. Good, experienced player, McCarthy. Played 99 games with Hawthorn before joining the Bears, so he knows exactly what things were about. Micken puts it forward, looking for Jeff Rains. Can't quite take the mark. It's touched before it goes over the boundary line.
Well, Mark Micken made the mistake of not going back far enough before he kicked. Then he had to kick it high, and it was a poor kick.
Which was out of bounds on the full, but now Micken gets a chance of making amends. Puts the ball forward. Neil up high, now playing in the back pocket on Bernie Harris. Good play by Cunningham. Gets it across to Frawley. Frawley runs his full distance and puts it up towards the half-back one. Gibson comes out to take a timely mark. So the boy from Cooperoo, we spoke about a Cooperoo boy before, but he was playing with Hawthorn. Now it's Michael Gibson, formerly of Cooperoo. In the last few weeks has done a fine job for the Bears. Gibson puts the ball forward. Rains takes the mark. Hand passes immediately to Ken Judge. Judge puts it up towards the forward area. Coghlan couldn't quite take the mark. Richardson swoops on it, puts it over the top. He was looking for Bernie Harris. Out comes McConville. Can't quite trap it. Over the line it goes, and the throw-in will take place. Forward pocket for the Bears, with the Bears on 33 points, Saints 43.
I think it's important that the Bears, with the lead by St.Kilda being 10 points, the Bears get a quick goal here because they've been battling in this quarter. There's Burns, a hurried kick. Brenton Phillips was in after it. Back at goal, Micken, well done. Oh, sputtered beautifully by Big Wow Jones. Now it's Banfield with a chance. Just kicked it straight to the line and over the line on half-forward flank. There was some doubt about Peter Banfield actually playing in this match. Some injury. It's on half-forward flank. Micken and Wow Jones will be a good contest, that one. There's Judge, but it's a free kick. Got to come back. Judge. Well, he had put it through, but it's
that priest friend of yours who told us about Banfield. And
it was too. An old curate of mine at West Heidelberg.
So any wonder, you'd never believe those guys, do you?
You were about to say you don't believe the Catholics. That's what you wanted to say, Bob. Be honest. There's Micken, half-forward flank. He
had a great year.
He has. He's a real goer and a worthy choice as captain.
He has. He's really proven that as Micken puts the ball across. O'Brien up high, couldn't quite take it. The loose ball comes towards Barker, trying to get the hand pass in, does so to Coghlan, and now Coghlan breaks clear. Has one bounce. The hand pass comes wide to Burns. Burns is in a bit of trouble. A beautiful blind turn, gets past Waterson. Up towards half forward he goes. Too high. It's Gibson and Marcoux. Marcoux used his body well and puts it out now to Evans. Evans straightens up with a left foot kick. Which way will it bounce? The wrong way as far as the Saints are concerned. Over the boundary line it goes, and a throw-in will take place. Forward pocket for the Saints, who lead by 10 points, 8 minutes into the second term. McCarthy will compete in the ruck against Tony Lockett. Both ruckmen hanging back, Micken and Jones. Lockett gets the tap. The loose ball taken by Manning. The hand pass came out to Marcoux, but his kick is offline. 1 point the result. Alex Marcoux, 1 goal 1. Out of 7 goals, 2. So it's 44 to 33. 11 points the margin as Michael McCarthy brings the ball back into the play. One of the Bears players receiving a bit of treatment there. At the back, Brenton Phillips comes through. Takes it. A hand pass out to Withers. Withers clear. Hand passes it long and back in towards the centre where Banfield now drives it towards centre half forward. Up high and punching the ball away was Grant. Pack forms, and umpire Cameron having no choice at all but to decide neither Judge nor Barker could get the ball out, and umpire Cameron had no choice but to bounce it.
I just watched Bernie Harris then run to the base of the pack, a tremendous roving. He didn't get it, but he ran to exactly the right spot when the pack went for that mark, and any young kid that was watching, that's the way to rove. Run to the base of the pack. Half forward flank. As it comes loose, there's a hurry kick, is a chance for the Bears. O'Brien, almost took that one, Cameron O'Brien. Richardson, left foot, kicks, goal. Great goal, Mike Richardson.
That was a great snap from Michael Richardson, and really just one of those lucky ones, but there was nobody in the goal square. Again on replay, ball's contested on the ground, comes out to Richardson, picks it up and screws it around on his left foot, gets past Scratcher Neal, and that was certainly a great snap for goal.
Well, a very valuable goal, that one. Close to 39 plays 44. I was almost saying close to half time. It's only 10 minutes gone in the second quarter. Was that a free kick to Corcomelis? No, said the umpire. A very even contest this. Coughlin went in hard. Good umpiring, Peter Cameron. Letting it go and making him earn the ball. There he is. Very experienced umpire. Almost 10.5 minutes gone in this second quarter. Packer players, about 18 players in that pack in the centre is commonplace in football these days. Campbell doing a great job down there. Defensive job on Winmar. A kick comes wide now. Joffa Cunningham. They love him down at St Kilda. Every time he... he's never been a great kick though, Barry, has he?
That is dreadful play from a man of Joffa's experience.
He ran with Cunningham all the way and let him know when he was home. No excuse for that, Barry.
None at all, Bob, and that's probably the worst part of Joffa's game, is he does all the good work and brings it undone by a poor kick or a bad handball. Campbell
drives it high. O'Keefe up in the air. Phillips almost took it off the pack, but Micken gets it out to Withers. Withers drives the ball towards the forward area. McConville, I should say, took it well on the half volley. The ball floating through. Cunningham coming through. Gets it out to Burke. Burke's kick smothered. A hand pass comes from Micken in towards half back. Coughlin leads in the race for the ball. Tackled too high, and Coughlin will take it. Thought about giving the hand pass. Could have easily been called play on, but gets it out well. Well placed by Coughlin. Finds Nathan Burke. Burke has a couple of bounces and goes straight down the ground. Lockett from behind, got a little push in the back, but not called by the umpire. And so Lockett with the chance of kicking his 5th goal. Was it a push, Barry?
A very, very educated little shove there. I think a full forward specially. Peter could probably tell us more about those as we see there on the replay, but Lockett is in everything at the moment.
I reckon that's fantastic play by Lockett. And when he saw his teammate coming down the ground, he immediately headed back to the goal square, but was able to duck around, keep his eye on the ball. And that little educated nudge, well, Peter Hudson did it all his career, and no one knows it's a free kick. It's just good play. There's the kick, and his 5th goal, Tony Lockett.
Peter McKenna never used to do it?
Now and again.
Well, I know Darryl Baldock might feel that Tony Lockett could play centre-half forward so well. I know Ron Clegg used to tell me that if John Coleman had been centre-half back, he'd be the best centre-half back in the league. If he was played in the centre, he'd be the best centre man. But they wanted to kick goals, and it's goal kickers that win you games. So Tony Lockett would be full forward for mine. There's his stats so far today. 5 marks, 8 kicks, and one of those kicks, so we saw a beautiful pass from Lockett and caused a goal for Bradley Gotch, and 5 straight goals so far.
I noticed, Bobby, they give him a ton of room, and that's good coaching by Darryl Baldock when you've got a player that good.
Micken gets a big punch. Kick only in mid-air that time by Frawley. It comes off the hands of the pack. Burns kick off the side of the boot. Campbell up and down before acceptances, and we see Winmar go after it. A bit of pressure by Walsh caused the loose ball, and Corcomelis gives the hand pass out. Marcoux breaks the tackle, hooks it over the shoulder down towards the goal square. Lockett and McCarthy. Oh, that was a free kick to McCarthy. It's called play on. Evans comes out, snaps towards goal. Lovely snap from Evans, full points.
That was a good piece of work from young Evans there, and he's done a couple of good things today, showing pace, breaking clear, and a fine left foot snap. They've got some good young players, St.Kilda, and certainly improving as the year goes by. And look at the replay there. Evans back after the ball, breaks the tackle, has a look at the goals, and back over his shoulder. That was a good shot for goal.
Top goal by Tony Evans, and not looking too happy, Peter Knights and Shane O'Sullivan. 39 plays 56, 6-3 to 9-2, and they're getting on top of the Saints. There's Frawley at half back. I think there's no doubt in my mind that the difference is the forward lines. In general play, it's very even. That was a smothered kick off the boot of Mark Williams. They've got a lot more room to work in, those St Kilda forwards, and they use the ball beautiful. Oh, here's danger. Burns has got it. Where's Lockett? He ducks back, but Burns fires at goal. He kicks and misses. 1 point.
Lockett should have led that time.
Well, 39 plays 57. Oh, gee, Peter Knight's not too happy, and 14 and a half minutes gone in this second quarter. That was a terrific mark by Mick, and a real slips catch, half-back flank. Now he sets this one up towards centre wing. Oh, here's a mismatch as far as size, and Big Wow takes a very easy mark.
Did he push him? Evans. Well-placed kick by Jones. So Tony Evans proving a danger up there on the forward line. Looks across for Lowe, but Reynoldsson coming across, misses the centre even though he was falling. Rains picks it up, gets a short kick in. An awkward bounce, but well trapped by Withers. Gets it across to Micken. Micken hand passes back, looking for Brenton Phillips. Phillips just traps it in play, gets a push in the back, and will take the free kick. So Brenton Phillips with the free kick right on centre wing, members' side of the ground. 22 points, I'm sorry, can't quite add up. It's 39 to 57, which makes it 18 points. So over the boundary, midway between centre wing and half forward flank for the Bears. And the Bears in this quarter have only added one straight goal. St Kilda have put 4 goals, 2 on the board. Barker tapped it forward towards Neil. And Neil over the top there of Brenton Phillips. So a bounce will take place. Still midway between centre wing and half forward flank. And Banfield and Corker-Millis has been quite a good duel. Burns and Rains likewise. The 2 ruckmen have done their jobs as Marcoux gets it across to Peter-Budge. A high floating kick. Evans up from behind, punches it away from Waterson. Over the line it goes. So a throw-in will take place on centre wing, members' side of the ground. 16 minutes have gone in the second term. Lowe and Reynoldsson competed for it. Lowe tapped the ball on, got one too high then. It'll come back and the free kick will be taken by Stuart Lowe. Big lump of a lad. Prepared to get the front position. Lowe puts it up wide. Lockett the target. Used his body beautifully. Couldn't quite take the mark. Rains roves to it well. Swings it back towards centre wing. Lowe has his name on it and takes the easy mark. Hand passes on to Evans, who was almost caught, tried to get the hand pass out. It comes back to Micken, tapped on to Judge. Judge puts it wide to Reynoldsson. Reynoldsson with a hand pass finds Withers. Withers has time to steady and put the ball out in front of O'Keefe. Did he get a push in the back? Called play on by the umpire. And we find Coughlin coming back through centre half back. Goes short to Burns in the centre. Back towards Coughlin. Not a well-placed hand pass though. And Bernie Harris intercepts, goes forward. O'Keefe under pressure there from Grant. Grant coming through. Puts it through for one rush point. Great defensive work.
That was good, great play from David Grant there, but some awful mistakes further up the field by both sides.
I thought the disposal of the ball then by the Bears was absolutely abysmal. That should have been a certain goal for league players, and their disposal was absolutely shocking. There's chicken away Trevor Barker to centre wing. Banfield copped one there in the pack and holds his head, but it's well, halfway between centre wing and half forward for the Bears, but their forward work has been very, very ordinary apart from Bernie Harris. They've now got O'Keefe at full forward, so they've got their worries. I thought O'Brien could have been whacked back on there at full forward. He wasn't given a long time there. Harris, brilliant play, Bernie Harris. I think it's his day-to-day kick now. O'Keefe a chance against McConville, but McConville was far too good, nearly marked it. Back it comes to scratch O'Neill. Marcoux Or straight to the line. It was deliberate, but the umpire didn't pay that. And the Brisbane Bears supporters not too happy.
I can understand the Bears supporters not being happy because it was certainly deliberate. Williams at the back. Banfield. His kick across towards half forward. Burke comes through for St Kilda. Hooks it over the shoulder. Burns couldn't take it, but he got good support. Actually let the ball go for Corker-Mealis to take it. Lowe comes out in front. Tapped away by Reynolson. Reynolson after it again. Taps the ball forward. Winmar does well. Pushed in the back. And so Winmar will come out with the free kick. Nobody on the mark, so he straightens up and goes forward to Lockett. Takes the mark. Lockett will be lining up for goal number 6.
Well, actually, I don't think that's Mike McCarthy's fault, that one. I thought that was very poor play. The players for the Bears around Winmar, then they're allowing him to run off. He got away far too easily. Lockett, beautiful lead. He is a top full forward.
I think every time Nicky Winmar gets the ball, Lockett must think it's Christmas.
He lights up for you, Barry.
Oh. Warren Ralph was full forward for Claremont for a couple of years with the Crackers feeding him, and he loved it, apparently.
Should blame him. Tony Lockett, 5 goals to his credit. Well, you wouldn't believe that Tony Lockett could miss that because he is a glorious kick, but he's got 5 goals, 1 on the board.
And Nicky Winmar was in the goal square all on his own with not a bare defender in sight.
Maybe he should have been waving his arms.
Full forwards go blind when they're looking at the goals.
That's Peter McKenna. As we see Michael Gibson getting ready to come back onto the ground.
Just you two don't like full forwards, do you?
McCarthy puts the ball back into play. At the back is John Peter-Budge, but a free kick has been found, and I think it will go to Stephen Reynolson now to the aid of a 15-metre penalty. Brings him out. Now he hand passes out wide to Philip Walsh. Walsh with a well-placed kick towards Phillips on centre wing. He's able to play on. Now with the left foot towards half forward. Withers and Coughlin. It's punched away by Coughlin. Goes in after it again, so too does Gotch. Hooks the ball over the shoulder. It's Rains and Burns. Rains used his body beautifully, outmanoeuvred his opponent that time in Greg Burns and took a fine mark. Hand passes onto McPherson. Not a good move for mine, and now McPherson goes up towards the forward area. And O'Keefe stood his ground and actually just with a little hip and out went his opponent, and that was McConville, who was flying in the air. It was a good effort by David O'Keefe.
We saw a great camera shot of that one, and clever play, David O'Keefe, as we see him from 30 metres out. They want this one badly. Oh, gee, that came back. I don't think enough. No, it didn't. He actually miskicked that one, but for a moment I thought it was going to swing back the wrong way. 6-5, plays 9-4, 41 to 58, so not an insurmountable lead, that. It's 17 points. It's only 3 straight kicks, but St Kilda looked far more dangerous in attack. John Peter-Budge had a spell on interchange a while back. Now he's on the half-back line as he brings it towards the wing. Lowe takes front position. It's punched away. Banfield goes in after it. Oh, he could have kicked that one off the ground, I felt then, as Corker-Mealis gets it to Robert Neal. Neal, a torpedo punt to half-forward. Now McCoo tries to get the ball running for him. He's got a big chance now. And little Alex, off he goes with great pace. Straightens up, bang, and it's a goal of the Saints.
That situation there absolutely perfect for Alex Marcoux. Ball coming over the back, used his body well to keep the Bears defender away from the ball, and then the ball was in the open and he just used his pace and ran into the open goal. We look on replay, Scratch-Neal kicking the ball away from the scrimmage. Marcoux taking off after the ball towards the 50-metre line, gets the break, picks the ball up and runs into the virtual open goal.
64 to 41, 23 points the margin in favour of St Kilda. Jones gets the ball down. McCarthy now in the ruck again as Corker-Mealis' kick came across the ground. John Peter-Budge was trying to get the ball loose, and so a pack as the ball was trapped by Brenton Phillips, so we'll find another bounce to take place. 23 minutes have gone as Shane O'Sullivan and Peter Knights have an interested look. Shane O'Sullivan has been a very interested onlooker down at the Teal Cup in Hobart this week to see if there's some budding Bears players. as Phillips gets the ball out to McPherson. The ball towards half forward, taken by O'Keefe. Cannot get the ball clear, and so Mark Williams kept it very tight rein, Mark Williams, by David Grant. The St Kilda defence has done a pretty fair job. A bit surprised that they didn't leave Withers on the wing.
One of their better players early in the game.
Williams takes it, gets a short kick in. Bradley Gotch is the player it goes to, though. And so from half-back flank, Gotch, not a good-looking kick. Coughlin up, couldn't take the mark, recovered well. Corker-Millis got the ball out now, and Evans has a paddock in front of him. One bounce, goes now towards goal. He's offline, and a good mark taken in defence by Philip Walsh.
Good play by the Bears down in defence. Two Bears players flew for the mark against one from St Kilda. Of course, the St Kilda players waiting down took it away.
Mark has been taken there by Phillips. A quick hand pass across to Banfield. Dixon, I should have said. Dixon puts the ball wide. O'Keefe couldn't quite take the mark. Frawley's there. Swooped on by Judge. Judge goes across the ground looking for, and not quite getting the ball to Richardson, but he took the ball on the half volley, hooks it over the shoulder. Not a well-placed kick. Burns, oh, beautiful play, Greg Burns. Then it was missed by Scratcher Neal. Then, fortunately for Neal, he got a push in the back, and luckily comes out with the free kick. Neal puts the ball wide. Stewart Lowe way out in front of his opponent and takes the mark. Got the hand pass to Winmar. Not a well-placed one, but Winmar comes across now. Marcoux waiting for it. Oh, not good play by Waterson. Should have got to that to punch the ball away. And very lack of desperation on that occasion.
He just didn't want to go near the ball, I don't think.
So Alex Marcoux has kicked two and has been a dangerous player around the ground. We've had two busy rovers in Marcoux and Gotch. Marcoux towards goal. No doubt about that. 3 goals, Alex Marcoux.
Yes, Bob, that was a very easy goal to Alex Marcoux. As you said in the call, he should never have marked that ball, and Waterson should have really just thumped that ball clear and taken Marcoux with him. But very poor defensive work there as well.
Yes, and I don't think, Barry, that the Bears are checking it all well.
And Banfield did have Corker-Millis. Now he's got Marcoux.
Well, they're making a lot of changes, and they have to, because they've been well beaten. 7 kicks to Alex Marcoux and 6 handballs. Back to the centre of the ground. There's Brenton Phillips losing it. Now Waterson goes in after it. John Peter-Budge. It's taken away from him. And it was a hurry kick by Dale Dixon down to half forward. Mark Withers couldn't trap that one. Robert Neal kicks wide. Got a loose man there, Peter-Budge, who always impresses me when I see him play. Reynoldsson underneath that one. Marcoux is there and low. Good tackle was on Reynoldsson. Banfield. A hand pass to McCarthy, over the top to Phillips. Phillips can give it across if he wants to. No, he elects to go for the short pass. It's an absolute shocker, and the Bears are not playing well.
Their disposal is somewhat abysmal, as Frawley floats the ball forward. That's a lovely mark to Reynoldsson up high. We're approaching the 27-minute mark of the second term. It's 41-70 in favour of St Kilda. Williams up in the centre of the ground takes a nice mark. Williams had Rains out wide, but next to wait and go long towards half forward. Hoping there for Micken. Couldn't quite take the mark. Rains swoops on the ball. Steadies from 55 metres out. Now towards the 50-metre line. Rains goes goalward. Lovely kick. 4 points to Jeff Rains.
Well, if Jeff Rains can't show the other players in the team how to kick a ball, nobody can. But that was a lot more direct play there by the Brisbane Bears, and resulted in goal to Rains again on replay. Had plenty of time to steady, broke clear, had a look, and then just put a long kick right through the middle.
There's no doubt about Jeff Rains. He's got beautiful balance and is one of the great kicks of the last 10 years. Tremendous kick when he was with Richmond. When he burst out of the centre, it just set them alight. The glory days of Richmond. A kick was by McPherson towards halfway. Here they come. This looks a lot better, but it's a free kick as it coming back in the back to Evans on half-back. Like that was bad luck because the Bears had the run on there. Evans towards half-foot. Oh, they're giving Lowe far too much space, but play on, said the umpire. Dixon kicks it away. Dale Dixon getting some help here from Philip Walsh. Oh, they overrun the ball though and allows Manning to come in. Walsh still battling away there. Good play, Walsh. Burns is in there also. Greg Burns ducks away, handballs it towards the boundary line. Oh, he's in trouble, Greg Burns, but the umpire has found the free kick for holding the ball.
Couldn't go anywhere in the finish.
I think he tried all these blind turns that he wasn't capable of doing, Barry.
But didn't they all make heavy work of that? Both sides.
So it's Jeff Rains with the ball on the half-back flank. 23 points to margin, 28.5 minutes have gone. Frawley was up. Nathan Burke takes it and drives it towards half forward. Gibson bursting through, taps it on. Reynoldsson takes it, gets a nice hand pass to Richardson, out to Banfield. He runs straight into trouble, and the loose ball taken by Campbell. A nice hand pass to Reynoldsson from the centre of the ground. Not a good-looking kick. Well trapped by David Grant. He taps the ball forward. Picked up by Judge. He loses it. It's picked up by Warren Jones. A long hand pass straight to the opposition. McPherson was held. Now it's taken by Matthew Campbell, who goes wide. It's all Bears. Richardson gives the ball on now to Bernie Harris. Gets past the first tackle, straightens up and goes forward. 4 goals, Bernie Harris.
Bernie Harris, the only real effective forward that the Bears have had, but in the last 5 minutes I think the Bears have started to be a little bit more direct in their play, and they're reaping some of the benefits, but still a long way to go, as we see once again on the replay. A little kick out to Richardson, who got past his opponent, handball to Harris, and he made no mistake. He's had a fine game today, Bernie Harris, and certainly the only Bears player on the forward line at the moment.
Full marks on that occasion to Gibson, who's now at full back.
He took the punt,
He took the punt and thumped it forward, and that's where that started.
Yeah, when Gibson ran out of that, I had my heart in my mouth then, Bob. I thought that might bounce over his head straight to Lockett.
Jones got the tap down. Marcoux can't get boot to ball, was held after he got rid of it, tried to tap it out. McCarthy likewise. Corker-Mealis takes it away from him. His hand pass, not a well-placed one, puts it under pressure as Evans. Evans and Waterson are both there trying to compete for the ball, and so umpire Cameron elects to bounce it. 30 minutes have gone, 17 points to margin in favour of St Kilda. Bounce not far from the point of the centre square, St Kilda forward line area. Campbell takes the ball away from the pack and puts a lovely kick forward as the siren sounds. And at half-time, Brisbane Bears 8 goals 5, 53. St Kilda 11 goals 4, 70. To commence, 53 to 70 in favour of St Kilda. Jones against Micken. O'Keefe at centre half forward, McCarthy at full forward. Jones taps the ball wide. Rains can't quite get to the ball. Kicked off the ground by McPherson. Picked up by Grant. The hand pass comes out to Burns. His hand pass was virtually smothered. Grant came on again. Forced it forward, which allows Burns to pick the ball up. Hand passes it out to Gotch. The left foot of Gotch floats the ball forward. Lockett low coming over the back. Low takes it on the second grab. Ball play on by the umpire. A quick snap from Low. What? No, it's hit the post.
Wow, that was pretty ordinary defence that by the Bears, Barry.
I thought it was, Bob. They let Lowe sort of Peter run around uncontested there, again thinking the umpire had blown his whistle when he hadn't, and then you just have to make sure that you keep playing until that umpire's whistle has gone.
Well, that would have been disastrous to allow the Saints to get a goal so quickly after half-time. The Bears have to get a couple of quick goals themselves to get up with the Saints. Campbell's done it. 8
goals 5, 53. St Kilda 11 goals 4, 70. To commence, 53 to 70 in favour of St Kilda. Jones against Micken. O'Keefe at centre half forward, McCarthy at full forward. Jones taps the ball wide. Rains can't quite get to the ball. Kicked off the ground by McPherson. Picked up by Grant. The hand pass comes out to Burns. His hand pass was virtually smothered. Grant came on again. Forced it forward, which allows Burns to pick the ball up. Hand passes it out to Gotch. The left foot of Gotch floats the ball forward. Lockett low coming over the back. Low takes it on the second grab. Ball play on by the umpire. A quick snap from Low. What? No, it's hit the post.
Wow, that was pretty ordinary defence that by the Bears, Barry.
I thought it was, Bob. They let Lowe sort of Peter run around uncontested there, again thinking the umpire had blown his whistle when he hadn't, and then you just have to make sure that you keep playing until that umpire's whistle has gone.
Well, that would have been disastrous to allow the Saints to get a goal so quickly after half-time. The Bears have to get a couple of quick goals themselves to get up with the Saints. Campbell's done an excellent job in this game on Nicky Winmar towards centre wing. attempted punch was by Frawley, and they really have, Barry, the Saints got a pretty good back line.
A very disciplined back line, Pete, and Frawley is a fine captain and does an excellent job either at full-back or centre-half back, and of course McConville, he's had a great game. And
Scratcher Neal is doing a good job down there since being moved to the back pocket. Frawley, or actually dropped that. Umpire let him get away with it. Grabbed by Gotch. A high floater. There's Campbell again in front of Winmar. This is a good performance. He shrugs him off too. Tremendous play and a 60-metre kick to half forward. McCarthy, as we said earlier, playing on the forward line. McConville gets it across to Scratcher Neal. Neal out wide to John Peter-Budge, who in my opinion has got a fair amount of ability, this young kid. Runs down the wing. And he kicks it wide to Winmar, who takes a good mark on half-forward flank. He gets away from Campbell on that occasion. And a 15-metre penalty is not good play by the Bears, because that puts him within kicking distance of goal. Lockett is not happy. He is yelling out at his teammates that they should have come directly to goal then, because he was clear. Now, he's got a chance to mark this, or is it a goal? It's a beautiful-looking kick, and it's a goal.
That's a great goal from Winmar, and one of the few times that he's got away from Campbell during the afternoon. And as Pete said there in the call, Matthew Campbell has done a great job on Nicky Winmar, but you can't allow him any latitude whatsoever.
But once again, players have got to learn, don't they, Barry, about this 15-metre penalty, how costly it can be. Now, that gave him a goal when he wouldn't have been able to kick it.
Certainly did, Pete, and that's just a very bad defensive area. You just can't afford to give those 15 metres away.
Not when it takes a player within kicking distance of goal. And, well, it was bad play, young Darren Carlson there. Now, there's Burns. He loses it to Williams. Williams now playing up on the ball. Rains, there's that high booming kick. A chance for McCarthy over the back. In they go after. Oh, chance. Was it a free kick to Harris? No, said the umpire. It's grabbed by Michael Richardson. A quick hand pass to Kenny Judge, who fires a goal. And he has missed, put it through for 1 point.
Judge with an opportunity there. He got the hand pass, but he was under a fair amount of pressure. So they're not easy to kick, those. A quick snap. There's Peter McConville. Solid at full back. Straight up the centre of the ground. Looks for Corcomelis. And under a bit of pressure there from Dixon. A 15-metre penalty will go against Dale Dixon. And so now Spiro Corcomelis. Straight down the ground, actually hooked it. Lowe was up, couldn't quite take the mark. The hand pass coming out to Phillips. Phillips running through the centre of the ground. Puts it long, down the ground. Oh, good mark by Barker. There's not too many players can mark over the top of Trevor Buck. Barker goes across the ground. John Peter-Budge is there. One bounce. Good turn of speed, runs his full distance. The lead from Lockett. That's a beautiful pass by John Peter-Budge. And Tony Lockett, who kicked 5 goals in the first half. Now, this will give a good indication of the breeze. Barry?
Well, as we said before, Bob, that breeze seems to be blowing all over the ground. But
Darryl Baldock in the background having a close look at things. I wouldn't worry too much about the breeze.
No problems for Tony Lockett. And that was a good piece of play by St Kilda. Started off with Trevor Barker across the half-back line. He switched the play over to Peter-Budge, who ran with the ball, as we see once again here. Budge marks the ball and takes off, has a couple of bounces, has a look, and finished his work off, which is something really that a lot of the younger players at St Kilda haven't been doing, and that must be a great sight for Darryl Baldock.
Tony Lockett stacks the date, 10 to... And I think you could say that the Bears are in trouble. Pete?
Yes, that's not the start the Bears have wanted to this quarter. 8-6 plays, 13-5. Tremendous to watch Lockett. I was also interested in Peter-Budge holding that ball in one hand as he ran down the ground. There's the kick out wide. Oh, off goes Mark too, and they're playing well, the Saints. Where's Lockett? He leads to the pocket. Look at the strength. Gibson is able to get there, though, and force it over the line. A lot of worries today for Peter Knights. Heck of a lot of worries, and he's on the phone, and a very poor start this quarter. Excellent start by the Saints, and well, see if they can get back into it. Their forward line hasn't functioned. Here's Winmar. We said he was down, but look at that as he comes out of the pack. Bad luck. That was an excellent effort, and that was a sign of his class there, Nicky Winmar. 8-6 to 13-6, 5 goals the difference.
McPherson puts the short kick out. No, he has to come back. I hadn't finished waving the flag, so Rod McPherson, another short pass. This time he finds Brenton Phillips. Phillips puts the ball towards the centre of the ground. Crawley from behind. Took it on the second grab, but it was already been touched by O'Keefe. Carlson got the hand pass in. Under pressure now is Judge. Got the hand pass through to Withers. Beautifully smothered by Evans. He goes after it again, picks it up in magnificent style. That's brilliant football by Evans. Out towards Lockett. Lowe comes across in front, and the juggling mark taken by Stuart Lowe. Lowe goes short down towards the forward area. Wasn't good play by Stuart Lowe. Put his players under pressure, and so we find Dixon now to Reynolson. Out to McPherson. Winmar in pursuit. But the ball comes from McPherson to the big fellow in Reynolson. Reynolson now out to O'Keefe. O'Keefe hooks it back. Cameron O'Brien, the man he's looking for. Burns stood there, and over the top came O'Brien. Four St.Kilda defenders all there together, and it's Barker who drives it wide. Once again he finds Peter-Budge, who spills the mark. Hand passes on to Neil. Neil puts it back out wide where Peter-Budge goes after it. Under pressure from Carlson. Budge gets the short kick forward up towards the half-forward line. An awkward bounce for Phillips, but he thumps the ball forward. Marcoux hooks it over the shoulder, down towards the forward pocket. Out came the boy from Cooperville, and that was Gibson. An awkward bounce for him, though, but he had enough courage to leave his man. That was Tony Lockett, because we saw a player there all on his own, Andrew Manning, and Gibson had to come out and meet the ball. Good play, Gibson, and it's a boundary line throw-in, 30 points to margin.
Right in that forward pocket, you see Stuart Lowe doing the ruck work. Now there's Winmar again on the left foot. Lockett ducks back, can't get back there. We talk about the difference between young Cameron O'Brien. He's got a lot to learn, and Lockett is incredible. Cameron's got to learn a few tricks up at full forward up the other end. He's just flying for the ruck. You'll never be a full forward just flying for marks all the time. Lockett doesn't fly all the time. He uses his strength. There's Winmar, tremendous play. He slams it through. And I'm not being overcritical. He will develop into a good player, Cameron O'Brien, but just flying indiscriminately for marks, that'll be bread and butter to most fullbacks. There's Nicky Winmar, a talented player.
He's only 21 too, Winmar.
Yeah, well, I reckon over in the West they've got a better... there's Matthew Campbell, 6 kicks to Winmar's 8, but I think Matthew Campbell has played better
in the first half, but Winmar's done well in this quarter.
He has. We've got a player over there, Derek Kickett, playing the State of Origin, that they over there they think is better than Nicky Winmar, so he must be a good player. Mark Williams dropped that mark.
I can tell you, I've seen Kickett play once, and I came away raving about him.
Claremont, is he?
Yes. He'll be in the State of Origin game, that is for sure. Be interesting to see how he fares. Lowe gets the tap, taken by Corcomelis. Tap forming, and so we'll find a bounce to take place. Missed that, Murray.
Well, our call goes to Western Australia, Bobby, so he might be watching this.
You never know. If he is, I hope he does well in the State of Origin. Marcoux across to Gotch, pushed in the back, and poor tackle on that occasion by Banfield. So Bradley Gotch will be kicking from about 55 metres out. Not much movement now. Lockett gives the lead. Called as he led, he signalled to go long.
It should open it up for him, Bobby.
Not a lot of space there at all. Pete, is there?
No, look at there's the high kick. Now, what's Lockett's strength here? Look at that. Fantastic. And that's where any young kid that's watching this and wants to be a full forward should watch Lockett. His use of the body there was magnificent. Now, what's this? He just leant into his opponent there, Michael Gibson, with the hip. It was completely fair. He just leant on him, kept the ball on his side, took the mark, and there's the stats. 11 kicks, 9 marks, 2 handballs, and has already kicked 6. So I don't think Tony Lockett will miss this one, coming in for goal number 7 from 5 metres out. Kicks it, and yes, it's a goal.
Goal number 7 to Lockett, and there's not much more you can say about Tony Lockett. If we haven't already said it today, but Pete certainly said he's a fine example for any young player, not only a full forward, but just in the way to use your body, and if you've got the strength to be that strong.
3 goals in the first quarter, 2 in the second, 2 so far in the third quarter for Tony Lockett. Total so far of 7 goals. 54-91 in favour of St Kilda, as Jones got it out to Marcoux. He was looking for his teammate there in Burns, who lost possession. Out comes a wild hand pass. Big Well Jones can't quite pick it up. He taps it out to Robert Neal. On it goes to Marcoux. St Kilda almost doing as they like. The lead comes from Lockett and right onto the chest. Now that was a beautiful pass from Alex Marcoux, but as we said earlier, it takes two. One to do the passing and one to make position. And well, I don't envy the job of Michael Gibson.
Well, it's his teammates' fault further afield. They're not putting enough pressure on St Kilda, kicking the ball to Lockett. There's the kick. He's hooked this one. He has, and he misses. And, well, he won't be happy. Most goals kicked by one player at Carrara. He's kicked 2 points as well today. There's 11 goals. Kicked, of course, by Jason Dunstall. He's a big chance today to kick a huge score. Tony Lockett, I'm sure they'll feed him if they look like winning the game in that final quarter. It's at centre-half back. Got to put in a bit more effort, the Bears. Withers. Back it comes to Kenny Judge. Good skills. Back it comes to Withers. O'Brien in front. McConville, a very experienced player. He's a good defender, isn't he, Barry?
He's having a great game, Pete, and he's been terrific value for the club since he came over to Carlton, but certainly doing everything right today.
He's not all that big either, Bob.
No, he's got a good leap and used his body well. Knows when to punch the ball away. Jones used his body well that time, got the ball down. I thought it was a free kick to Banfield, the tackle being too high. A snap towards goal. O'Brien's in front. Did he take the mark? No, it's called play on by the umpire, and it's rushed through for 1 point. That's 3 occasions today that the ball has been rushed through for a point to the Bears. 55-92.
Well, that was better by Cameron O'Brien. You see, he stood his ground and almost took the mark by out-strengthening his opponent.
Richardson judges that one to perfection, goes on straight away. Has got the lead from Mark Micken, and it was a well-placed kick from Mike Richardson. Micken will be kicking from about 50 metres out, so this could give us an indication. We saw Lockett have no trouble from the distance at the other end, and so Mark Micken from the 50-metre line drives the ball, doesn't quite make the distance, and it's touched by Big Wow Jones, through for 1 point to Mark Micken. 8-8 to 14-8, so it's a 6-goal margin. 36 points the lead held by St Kilda after leading by 17 points at half-time. McConville, Peter-Budge up high, couldn't quite take the mark. Corker-Mullis rode beautifully. There's nobody there, but it doesn't matter because it runs over the boundary line, and the throwing will take place on centre wing, members' side of the ground.
Well, conditions up here at Carrara, absolutely magnificent. There's the marks. Brisbane Bears 23 to St Kilda 34, but there's not much breeze. The ground in perfect condition. Sun shining, not a cloud in the sky as we see Rains bringing it to half-court. There's 2 experienced players there. As St Kilda was Trevor Barker receiving from Rains. The mark is dropped by Scratcher Neal, another very experienced man. Over the top he goes to Burns. Burns back to Robert Neal, and Neal kicks wide looking for Stuart Lowe. He's up in front. Oh, he takes a strong mark too in front of Stephen Mendelson. Mendelson not happy with that, but I don't think you should argue about that one. It was a definite mark to Stuart Lowe from half-forward. Where's Lockett? Oh, I think he'll mark this one too. Look at that. Oh, yeah. No. Umpire didn't play it, said he didn't hold it long enough. I thought he had. There's Walsh. Further afield to Mendelson. Now to Rains. And Rains from centre wing, a little stab pass, and finds Ken Judge.
The Judge under a bit of pressure from Barker. 15-metre penalty going against Trevor Barker now. And you'd be too worried from that position on the ground. And Ken Judge goes long and wide. Corker-Mullis was up, trying to punch it away. Came back, got it. The loose hand pass out. Went to Bernie Harris, who was tackled from everywhere. Coughlin was grabbed by the foot. Richardson picked it up and snaps towards goal. But it wasn't Coughlin, it was Scratcher Neal. He was a very disappointed Bears fan. Not too happy at all, is he? We had young Jeffrey Rains' boy on camera last week and didn't know it.
Yeah.
That's certainly what wasn't Jeff Rains' boy.
Just then, no. Crocodile Dundee. So we find Marcoux not being able to get rid of the ball. And so Marcoux having a pretty good game, Pete.
Yes, Alex is, well, he's had a fair year too. St Kilda lead by 36 points. This ground really suits Alex Marcoux because he's got a lot of pace and good skills. And anyone with ability will do well on this ground. There's a hand pass from Withers to Micken. Micken now, O'Brien in front. Tried the battle that time with McConville. He's an experienced player. The Corker-Mielis, two former Carlton players combining, and two Premiership players. I think Spiro's played in the Carlton Premiership team, or has he?
I think he may have. And
well, they've won plenty of flags.
Actually, they're getting good value out of their well, players from other clubs. Robert Neal's doing a fine job. Whale Jones doing a very serviceable job in the ruck as McPherson puts the ball forward, and Trevor Barker comes out with the mark.
They're falling down up forward badly, the Bears, Bob.
Yes, St Kilda's defence well on top. Barker towards centre wing. Low coming across. Positioned beautifully. Corker-Mielis takes a hand pass from Jones. Then he finds Burns. Burns puts it back to Burke. Young Nathan Burke now. Down towards the half-forward line. Marcoux. Will he get the favourable bounce? He does, but then force it on to Winmar. Winmar back to Marcoux. Excellent play. Marcoux took a little bit too long, but then was grabbed just as he was about to kick it. Should have put it across the ground to Lockett.
Great effort by Matthew Campbell to run him down then, Barry.
Certainly was, because Marcoux, as you said before, Peter, is not a very slow player, and good piece of desperate stuff by Campbell.
Well, that's bad luck. Withers has to stay off. Waterson on. Mark Withers is he was holding his arm, and well, that's bad luck. There's Matthew Campbell. Beautiful effort that was to run down Alex Marcoux. Oh, Reynoldsson, the big grab, and that's a tremendous mark by Steve Reynoldsson. He gets it across to Darren Carlson. Carlson to half forward. Gee, David O'Keefe, he's had Frawley on him, and David O'Keefe has not been in the game at all today, Bob.
No, he struggled right throughout today's game. 1 point early in the piece. It's asking a lot of David O'Keefe, though, who's played most of his football. A great mark again to Lowe. He's got the courage to stand his ground in front, Barry.
He has, Bob, and he's starting to grab a couple of the marks now. Just earlier in the game, he was getting his hands to the ball, but not grabbing it, but starting to take a few marks now.
Lockett. This fella here, Tony Lockett.
Well, I watched Lockett then. The ball was still back here with his teammate. And you know what he did? And I reckon this is great by Lockett. He shoved his opponent out of the way. There's the mark, but just before that, before he led, he just pushed Gibson 5 metres out of the way when the umpire wasn't looking, and then made the lead. Well, Gibson had no hope, so intelligent play by Lockett.
Well, I hope the state selectors are watching today, Bob. I'm sure they are, but in relation to the full forward post for the game next week, I don't think there's any doubt that Tony Lockett has to play full forward, although it is bad luck for Dunstall and Kappa, who are having fine seasons as well.
A kick from Tony Lockett offline. Maybe trying to get that little bit extra distance into the breeze. 7 goals, 3 to Tony Lockett.
They might even think, Bob, about Paul Salmon after 11 goals and 9.
Yes, 20 goals in 2 weeks is not a bad effort. Reynoldsson, another fine mark. Hand passes immediately to Campbell. A good turn of speed. Hand passes to McPherson. High kick towards half forward. Harris coming through, judged that one better than anybody else, and Bernie Harris plays on. O'Brien in position to take the mark, and now he's done well. An excellent mark to Cameron O'Brien. His fine skills, but has to put the game together a little bit. According to today's football record, he is the son of a former St Kilda player.
Jimmy O'Brien, a little rover who played in the 50s and the early 60s for St Kilda. Certainly not built like his father.
Cameron O'Brien. Going for his first goal. Nice looking kick off the boot. O'Brien, 1 goal.
That was a good mark of O'Brien's. He got himself well in front of McConville and took a little bit of a ride, and that was a fine grab, as we see here on the replay. Harris breaking clear after judging that mark to perfection, and O'Brien takes off, and that was a good mark in front of McConville. Not easy to do.
Peter McKenna has been saying for a long while about the undoubted skills. Very pretty little Bears supporter. 62 to 94. Mark Micken competing against Jones. Williams came in at the last minute. It's punched wide. Greg Burns leads in the race for the ball. Gives the hand pass back to Trevor Barker. Barker swings it wide. Manning coming across takes the nice mark. Andrew Manning sees Marcoux down in the forward pocket. The kick's offline though, and just out of bounds on the full. He knew what he wanted to do. He was trying to give it to Marcoux, who along with Winmar were racing towards goal, but not a well-placed kick. Burns in a bit of trouble. Micken coming right over the top to take a fine mark. Micken it is. Up towards centre wing. Corker-Mealis is there. Waterson at the back. Pushed in the back as well. And so Chris Waterson will take the free kick almost on the half-forward line.
Dean Rice is coming on the ground for the Saints and Andrew Manning off as we see Waterson towards half-forward. That's better play. Cameron O'Brien coming up the ground to meet the ball. Now he's going to kick it wide with a little chip pass across to Bernie Harris. Is he off? Well, I thought he'd played on. The umpires allow him to go back. He certainly ran away from them from that straight line. He's kicked 4. Now, he will have to kick this from about 52 metres. He had 10 kicks and kicked 4 goals. Now, he elects to kick it short, and it was a good lead. Now, what's Reynoldsson doing up there? I wonder if he's been moved to the forward line. No, Lowe's down there at centre forward on his own, and Reynoldsson is up there. So that's interesting. It's a very interesting move by Reynoldsson. He's only had 3 kicks, but he might kick a goal here. He has. Oh, boy, that could turn the tide. Who knows?
Well, the Bears aren't out of this yet, Peter, and they're just hanging in there. Took them a long while to kick that goal. 3 little short passes. O'Brien leading initially to upfield, and then passed the ball over to Harris, who in turn got it to Reynoldsson, who must be at centre-half forward now.
No, he's
gone back to centre-half back.
Went down the ground.
He just went down there. That's very interesting, but certainly still in the game, the Brisbane Bears.
I think Stuart Lowe right at this moment would feel terrible. Like anyone that used to play on David Dench, the great North Melbourne player. If you saw him running down the ground away from you, you used to just pray that he wouldn't run down and kick a goal.
26 points the margin. Burns caught one too high as he was coming through. And so the trotting driver from North Ballarat.
Snake Gully. That's where he's from.
Played with North Ballarat, the Snake Gully boy. Straight down the ground. Lowe coming out in front. And I think Stuart Lowe would have been saying to himself, I've got to make up for that a little bit. Very loose defence by Reynoldsson.
And also Mick and both of them just stood there and let him mark.
26 points the margin. Lockett in the front position. Punched through by Matthew Campbell, so 1 rush point to St Kilda.
A couple of quick goals, Bob, and the Bears will be right in this with a chance, because really on the play, St Kilda should be a lot further in front.
Lead at the moment, 27 points. Reynoldsson in the middle, reading it well with Banfield. He just took his eye off temporarily, but he was able to get it on to Carlson. Through now to Rains. Rains will go long, puts it out wide, hoping for Cameron O'Brien. Used his body well, but then spilt the mark. Bernie Harris is there, kicked off the ground by Corker-Mealis, and over the line it goes. Well, he had the chance there, Pete.
Well, he used his body beautifully then, Cameron O'Brien. That's what I was talking about earlier with Lockett, but Lockett would have marked that one.
Lockett spilled a couple today as well.
No, not many. When they last met, St Kilda thrashed the Bears by 50 points. I think that was under pretty wet. It was under wet conditions. That was the Bears' first loss of the year.
It was wet.
Wasn't it? I thought it was.
The Bears had 2 wins on the board, beating North Melbourne and Geelong, and were probably a little bit confident when they went down to St Kilda, but St Kilda really brought them back to earth. 68-95. O'Brien was up high, got the tap down, and again the pack forms. Mark Williams, well, unusual to see him down there on the bottom of the pack.
Talk about Moorabbin, you live down that way. I've never been there when it hasn't been wet, Bob.
It's good down there.
It's never wet down there.
Corker-Mealis, just a short kick forward. Dixon couldn't take it. Carlson does. All the way. And so a fresh air kick. Rice leads in the race for the ball against Phillips. Tapped it on and was then held. And good play by Rice. Made no attempt to grab it. Tapped the ball on. And then he was held when not in possession of the ball. So Dean Rice Swings it across towards the centre. Not a well-placed kick. Rains couldn't take the mark. Recovered well. Got the hand pass forward. Corker-Mealis takes it, and he has all the time in the world to steady. Puts the hand pass out in front of Greg Burns. Burns has the lead coming from Lockett. Can he get to the ball? Great effort by Lockett, but not being paid by the umpire. Lockett still trying to push the ball away and is penalised accordingly. He put his hand too high. I thought he marked it.
Oh, that was a great effort by Lockett. He was a bit frustrated then. Oh, gee, he puts down Mark Williams. It was hip and shoulder stuff by Tony Lockett, but the crowd roared. There wasn't much in that, but I think he was frustrated because I reckon that was a fantastic effort to mark that, Barry.
I think it was, and I think the umpire really should have paid the mark. He did enough to deserve it.
McPherson runs around one player and then puts himself in trouble. Hand passes to Rains. Rains with a long kick towards centre half forward. Barker in the middle of the pack. Judge as he's been played. No, it's called play on by the umpire. A loose ball comes towards Micken. He's overridden and umpire Forster comes in to indicate that he'll bounce the ball at centre half forward for the Bears, who are on 10 goals, 68. St Kilda 14-11, 95. 4 goals, 3 the margin, 27 points. Jones gets the tap, taken by Gotch. Burke, the short kick comes forward. Coghlan forces the ball forward, goes after it again. A nice piece of shepherding by Barker. Coghlan dribbles the ball around towards the wing. Over the boundary line it goes. Good shepherding by Trevor Barker. He's been a good team player down there in defence. As Mark Micken having a sip of the magic potion. Mark Withers alongside him. Burns tried to grab it from behind, couldn't do so. Could have been a Bears free kick for mine, but called play on by the umpire.
Well, I'd like to compliment the umpires. You know, I knock them when they're bad, and I compliment them today. I reckon they've been fantastic. Forster and Cameron, they've only made 1 or 2 errors, I reckon, all day. And after Friday night's performance, it's good to see 2 good umpires. We see it on centre wing with Grant, and didn't they come and pounce on the ball? But it's been a very, very...
You obviously weren't too impressed with the umpires.
The worst I've seen in 10 years.
You saying that because Carlton...
No, I thought on both sides they were just very, very bad. But everyone's, I suppose, we're all human. As the kick is off the side of the boot, but I'll give them a rap when it's due, and they've been great today.
Well, it's out of bounds on the full. That must have been a great game Friday night.
Look, honestly, Bob, it was anyone who'd witnessed that. It was goal for goal. Absolutely tremendous game. It was tough, it was hard, goal for goal, and it was sheer effort won it for the Eagles on Friday night, Bob.
Good effort by the Eagles, and at the time Robert Neal put the ball forward. Coming through was David Grant. He comes back to Grant again, a quick hand pass to Lowe. Likewise, he gets it out to Burns, who hooks the ball over the shoulder. Winmar's out in front. Campbell does well to punch it away, but Winmar comes again. The speed of Campbell puts him under pressure. Evans puts the ball across, but just before Winmar put boot to ball, evidently he had gone over the boundary line, so a throw-in will take place.
Gee.
I didn't think it was.
No way. Yeah, and the umpire has had better eyes than us, Bob. None of us thought it was, but still. There's Mark Williams. Winmar has had a better quarter. Well, here's danger, Alex Marcoux. He's got that zip to get away from Banfield. Kicks it by Tony Lockett. Couldn't get back. Gibson was there, his opponent, and took it over.
Tony Lockett looks as though this hot weather might be getting out.
I reckon he looked a bit slow there, Tony. I think he'll be saying kick it to me in the square for the rest of the game. Well, he's kicked 7. He's missed a couple. Well, oh, that's a push in the back, I think, against Lockett. No, the umpire let it go, and he's cleverly gets it out to Dean Rice. It's smothered off his boot. Back it comes to Rice. Throws the ball away. Now, was it a free kick? No, said Peter Cameron. Now, how will he deliberate on that one? In fact, he let it go, and that was good umpiring, and the ball went over the line. Forward pocket. Actually, close around to the half-forward line area. All must be close to three-quarter time. In fact, there is the siren as I speak to end the third quarter. It's going to be a difficult task, this, for the Brisbane Bears. The scoreboard shows St Kilda leading 14 goals, 11, 95 to the Brisbane Bears, 10-8, 68.
Approximately 30 minutes of football left to play. 68 to 95 in favour of St Kilda. 27 points to margin. It's forced forward by Burns. Evans comes through. Bradley Gotch forces it out again. Phillips is held. We're not in possession of the ball, and the Brisbane Bears player, Brenton Phillips, will take the free kick. Hand passes immediately to Rains. Rains gets past the tackle, gives it across to Philip Walsh. Walsh goes long towards centre half forward. Jones backing back. Frawley punches it away from behind. Taken by Grant. Hand pass towards Coughlin. He got it out towards Grant again. Grant has time to steady. Pick the ball up. Hand pass across to Neal.
Scratcher Neal under pressure. Oh, good defensive play. It's fisted away. This is the man they wanted could really take over. Rains to Richardson over the back. Oh, almost a mark. Umpires have been very consistent today with the umpiring decisions. Now, Mike Richardson not happy with that one. There's Scratcher. A real personality, little Scratcher Neal. Robert Neal has been a terrific player, over 200 league games. 10-8 plays, 14-11. The Bears, they're still in this with a chance. They must get a couple of quick goals, as we see. Put a bit of pressure on the Saints. Oh, good play, Bernie Harris, but Bradley Gotch read that beautifully to Nathan Burke. A high floater. And is it out in the full? No. Who's in there? That's little Carlson at the base of the pack. Burns. Good tackle, lad. A strong tackle. Too high, said the umpire on Mark Williams. Yes, I think it was. And Mark wasn't too happy with it, but no footballer ever is when he has a free kick against him.
You're right there. Peter-Budge puts the ball forward, low in front, couldn't take the mark. Reynoldsson does, gives it across to Matthew Campbell, and the speed going through the centre. He directs it straight down the ground, too high from McConville. That's at the back. First to the scene is Trevor Barker, goes for the boundary line. The educated kick bouncing over the line, and the throw-in will take place about 50 metres out from the Bears' goal. 68-95, as it was at three-quarter time, 2 minutes of play gone. Micken number 1, Jones number 10. Micken gets the ball down. Driven forward by O'Keefe. O'Brien and McConville at the back. Bernie Harris swooping on it. Straightens up, dribbles the little ball forward. 5 goals to Bernie Harris.
Well, the Brisbane players certainly have carried out the coach's instructions to perfection there. At three-quarter time, he asked them to drive the ball across to that far side, and they have been rewarded with their first goal for the quarter. Another goal to Bernie Harris, who's certainly been a thorn in St Kilda's backline today, and as I said before, he's been the Bears' best player down there on the forward line.
Well, he's lucky he's kicking goals because they've fallen down badly in the key forward posts, as they have a lot of the year. Bernie Harris, a real goal sneak. Well, Peter Knights, he looks a little bit happier now. That was a quick one. They want another quick goal now, and I think it'll put a lot of pressure on the Saints. But they've started this quarter very well. There's Corker Mealis. Even he was under pressure having that kick. There's Rains, who started off well in this quarter. Nathan Burke, a floater towards half forward, where it's marked there by Stuart Lowe. Now, Lockett is one out. If he kicks this quickly, Lockett's a big chance to mark it. Look at that, they've given him all the space, but Lowe has gone for the big boomer and he's missed. They had Lockett there, one out, and it looked a bit dangerous as far as the Bears were concerned. The scoreboard now shows 74-96, so that's 22 points. The difference is it is brought back into play to half back. Now, that's a good mark, and that has been taken by Philip Walsh.
Walsh probably a little bit lucky that the umpire didn't call play on there. Hand pass wide, taken by Campbell. Campbell towards centre wing, and Danny Frawley standing his ground well. Backing back takes a fine mark. Frawley, St Kilda captain. Lowe flipped around in the front position. The call play on there as Reynoldsson now drives it out wide towards centre wing. Matthew Campbell couldn't quite take it, tripped over himself, and we find the hand pass now taken by Grant, driven forward. A lovely pass finds Winmar. Winmar puts it long. Lockett's got the sit right in the goal square. Must be paid. It's punched away well after Lockett had taken the mark. I did call Grant getting the ball forward, but it was Burns, and so no doubt about that mark, Pete.
Yes, I thought it was a mark, but I tell you what, football is not justice at times, because Campbell made the real gutsy effort to take the mark out in the wing, left his opponent, Winmar, his opponent ended up getting a little short pass and getting the ball. Now here's Lockett. Was that a 15-metre penalty right to the line? Well, he's right in front, couldn't possibly miss. And there it is, goal number 8 to Tony Lockett.
Couldn't possibly miss that goal, Pete, but just again showing what a great influence Lockett has been on the game today. And Winmar, seeing Lockett in the goal square there, just delivering the ball almost to perfection once again. But that certainly was a mark, and it was just knocked away at the last moment by the defender.
Once again, the Saints getting that little break and going back to a 28-point margin. 16 kicks, not a bad effort for a full forward. 16 kicks.
Great effort for full forward.
Tony Lockett, 16 kicks, and with that 16 kicks, 8 goals, 3, and one beautiful pass onto the chest of Bradley Gotch that resulted in a goal.
And their forward set-up, St.Kilda, Bob, is fantastic. They give Lockett one whole side of the ground to work, and they don't have a forward pocket standing there, so it gives him tons of room.
Alex Marcou's not that far away. He's not silly enough to not be there.
I mean, the other forward pocket, you've got Marcou, you've got to have someone there, but the other flank they leave wide open for Lockett to lead to, which is great coaching by Darryl Baldock.
Very disciplined play by the other St Kilda forwards. Big pack of players around this one. Jones wins a tap. Tapped on by Grant. Picked up now by Withers. Withers in trouble. Evans tackled him. Walsh taps the ball forward. Carlson coming through. Attempt to kick off the ground by Williams. Corker Millis is there. Micken tried to hand pass it out. Waterson, so too Bradley Gotch. It comes through. A beautiful blind turn that time and hand passed out by Burke. Picked up now, and we find Peter-Budge. Gives it back to Burke, so the player in the centre was Evans, putting it forward onto the chest now of Marcou. So good play by Burke, and it was Evans who got the ball out. I did call Burke. Marcou driving the ball forward, punched away that time by Gibson. No chance of Lockett taking the mark. Good defensive work by Michael Gibson, and he's had a hard task, and he certainly hasn't thrown the towel in. Darryl Baldock would be pleased with the scoreboard of 15-12, 102 to 11-8, 74. Lowe taps the ball wide. Corker-Mielis onto the left foot he goes. Not a well-placed kick though by Corker-Mielis. Lockett at the back. Can't take the mark. Bradley Gotch is there. Taps it back. Phillips keeps the ball in play. Phillips goes short, looking there for Rains. Rains in front. Good piece of play by Withers, but then he lost it at the last moment, but still has time to pick the ball up. Hand passes wide. Phillips takes possession of the ball and goes out wide again, so they're certainly playing to the tactics as their coach required, getting themselves in a bit of trouble with loose handball, and eventually a poor kick goes straight to Alex Marcou. Again the loose play, and maybe Burns was off. Now he's off now as Burns puts the ball wide out in front of Stuart Lowe, and he takes a fine mark.
Yes, good movement that on the forward line. They've got two options. You've got Lowe at centre-half forward. You've got Lockett there. You've got Winmar and the resting Rovers. He's taken 9 marks himself. Stuart Lowe, and a big hulk of a player. And he's still a very young player too. So they've certainly got a forward line to build their future on. There's the kick. Lockett at the back. Almost took that one also. Oh, geez, a big, strong player, and a real exciting player. There's Stuart Lowe, 11-8, plays 15-13, so they're 4 goals, 5.
3 points to Stuart Lowe as Rains brings the ball forward. Peter-Budge, oh, lovely mark. John Peter-Budge. We mentioned the Teal Cup, and John Peter-Budge was a star in the Teal Cup a few years back. Carlson took it from Reynolds in towards the centre. Coughlin put them under pressure. Coming back, oh, good play, Coughlin. Hand passes out to Rice. Rice steadies, drives it long down towards the pocket. Lowe coming back. And Lockett doing the right thing. Called for Lowe to take it, but Lowe just couldn't quite get the fingers there. And a couple of cute little Bear supporters. Not too happy with the score. Happy with the weather, I'm sure. As Peter Banfield runs over the line with it, another throw-in to take place.
Well, if they're the kids of one of the players. Oh, gee, I didn't think it was that cool up here, did you?
No. But they are in the shade on this side of the ground, don't forget.
Fantastic day up here at Carrara. Conditions absolutely perfect for football. A great ground this is. It's a credit to the local shire and particularly the curator. The ball is brought from defence. That was by Rod McPherson to centre wing. Oh, good mark. Is it paid? Yes. And that's Dean Rice taking that one on centre wing, who had a nightmare start to the game. Playing on Bernie Harris, had 3 goals kicked on him very, very quickly in the piece. There's the big punch away. Back it comes to half back now. Darren Carlson. Isn't that a real big day, Darren, today? Been in good form, though. Oh, taken away brilliantly. Bernie Harris. Handball over the top to Cameron O'Brien. That was sensational play. Goal.
That was a great piece of play from Bernie Harrison, but just the intercept of Trevor Barker's handball, I think, was just a bit of luck on behalf of the Brisbane Bears. Barker didn't do much wrong as we have a look here on replay. He's grabbed the ball, had the option to get it out, and then Harris has just picked it off as he's gone through and popped the handball over the head for an easy goal. Just a little bit unlucky there, I thought, Trevor Barker.
Well, a little bit slow, actually, and wasn't a good hand pass by Trevor Barker. No real crispness in that hand pass by Trevor Barker, so it's 23 points to margin once again. 4 points have been gained by the Bears in this quarter. They quickly need another goal if they're going to get back into the game, but we've said that on each occasion. Burns and Rains both collide. In comes Mark Williams, and so the umpire, Peter Cameron, will bounce the ball. 23 points to margin, 11 minutes into the term. Jones gets it wide. Marku. Burke gets a short kick. Banfield floats the ball off the side of the boot. Neal punches the ball away. Coughlin comes in to lend support. Hooks it over the shoulder, down towards the forward pocket. Bounces just inside the line. And a throw-in will take place midway between centre wing and half-forward flank for the Brisbane Bears, who are trailing by 23 points. Warren Jones shielding his eyes from the sun. Over the top comes Coughlin. Kicked off the ground by Withers. It's picked up by Nathan Burke. Burke towards the half-forward line. McPherson judged it well, but then dropped it. Tackled, got the ball forward. Winmark came in, dived in after the ball. And Fermani dived after. I didn't think it was a push in the back.
Oh, gee, the crowd didn't like that play. Oh, he's reversed the decision here.
Cameron's playing for the crowd, I reckon.
I think the crowd conned him. Well, there's Bart Micken. No free kick down the ground. Winmark controlled himself well then. I thought he was going to give it away. Rice from the back pocket. Hand pass looking for Robert Neal, but chipping in was Grant. Smothered off his boot. In fact, that's still in play. Alex Marku. Great skills by Marku as he gets it to Robert Neal. Neal on the left foot looking for Stuart Lowe. From behind was Reynoldsson. Couldn't stop Lowe. Gee, he must have big hands. Stuart Lowe is a very strong grab. There's Burnsy, he lost it. Hand pass from Reynoldsson. Finds Carlson. Carlson goes for home. That's the way to kick it. O'Brien caught behind though, and oh gee, that was a full forward's dream, that kick.
Not good play by Lowe though, Pete.
Very lucky to get out of that St.Kilda then, Bob, I thought. McConville comes across the ground. He's got Marku. Nathan Burke's on his own. He's got a paddock. He can run up the ground. Nobody within 50 metres. Burke goes forward looking for Winmar. Winmar takes it just inside the boundary line. Now this could be no, he slipped over. And so Nicky Winmar looking for 15 metres from the umpire. And you took it off me before. What about a 15-metre penalty now? Winmar goes towards half forward looking for Lowe. No one can take the mark, and it's Rod McPherson who puts the ball back. Micken got an awkward bounce. Winmar comes through, can't quite take it. Peter-Budge does. Swings onto the left foot and goes across the ground. Bradley Gotch can run down in towards the open goal. Gotch from 45 metres out goes straight down the ground, and it's full points to St Kilda. Well, that'll just about wrap the game up, I think, but you certainly can't give Bradley Gotch room like that to move and let him run into an open goal for his second goal, and just about the sealer for the St Kilda side. As we watch here on replay, good piece of work again by Peter-Budge to get it over to Bradley Gotch, and he had an absolute paddock to move in, and he's a great kick of the football as well, and made no mistake.
Bradley Gotch kicking his second goal after kicking 7 goals last week. So he's in fine form. Pete?
Yes, a great little bloke too, Bradley, and I'd love to see him continue to do well. He probably didn't kick on at Fitzroy purely and simply because of size. And that he's got a big heart. Yeah, there's Jeffrey Rains. Punched away by Grant. He's done a good, solid job down there today. Well, not spectacular, but he's very disciplined. Marku, wide. Oh, gee, they're looking dangerous now, the Saints. Corker-Mielis, half-forward flank. Now, you'll probably look for Lockett or Lowe. Now, Lockett's coming back from behind. Oh, he shoves him out. And was it a shove out? Yes, said the umpire. Lockett claims it could almost have been a strength you know, out-strengthening him then, Bob, but the umpire plays it away.
No, I agree with the umpire, as Marcoux tried to get the hand pass clear, couldn't quite get it out. Micken couldn't take possession, neither could Banfield, but he gets it towards Walsh. Walsh floats the ball forward, not a good kick. It's picked up by Warren Jones, and after taking that mark, he finds the ball forward. Lowe must be paid the free kick. Mark first or a free kick, whatever you like. Now, he should get the ball forward. Tony Lockett's not quite ready for it.
That's bad play, Tony Lockett. Lowe wanted to give it to him, and he had his back turned. He would have passed it.
At all. He would have put the ball down. Lowe slipped as he was going to kick it, but he might make the distance in front as Micken. Now, Micken wouldn't have been down there if Lockett had been ready.
Yep, he turned his back, and I'm surprised Tony Lockett did that, because Lowe went to give it to him, and he found he had his back turned and couldn't do a thing about it. There's McPherson to Banfield. I thought once you got to about 8 goals, you'd be as hungry as anything to get to double figures. Now, there's Raines kicking it long. Had a good quarter, Jeff Raines. Punch away, comes back to centre wing. Dean Rice. His father, John Rice, I think the journalist from Melbourne, a well-known journalist.
The golfing one.
Yeah. There's John Fidge. Now, I'd like to see him at full forward, Bob.
You can't help yourself, can you?
Johnny Fidge up the back. I'll tell you what, I bet he ends up back in the team.
On the throne. Brenton Phillips gets the hand pass in. Rice comes through. Quick hand pass out to Burke. Burke puts the ball wide. Burns up towards the half-forward line. No mark taken. Holding the man could have been gone to the Bears. Rod McPherson trying to kick it off the ground by Campbell. Micken gives the ball across now, and Banfield goes for the long kick down the ground. No free kick call with the umpire as both players were wrestling. And eventually we find David O'Keefe picking the ball up, swinging onto the left foot. He goes forward looking for Cameron O'Brien. A 2-out duel. O'Brien wins out, takes the mark. He's got Bernie Harris down in the square on his own. Does he take too long? It's a poor kick. Harris is still there. Can't quite take it on the first grab. Swings onto the left foot. I thought he went over the line, but he gets the hand pass to Darren Carlson. Carlson's kick swinging back. He's through for full point.
Well, they certainly made hard work of that once again. O'Brien marking the ball on the 50-metre line, and for about 10 seconds, I think Bernie Harris was all on his own in the goal square. Took too long to get it down to him. Eventually put it out to him in the forward pocket, and Harris had to get around 2 or 3 St Kilda defenders, and it could have been out of bounds, very close. And then a handball across, and a fine shot for goal by Darren Carlson.
13-8, plays 16-13. It was fine play to that mark taken down there by Cameron O'Brien. That's what he's got to do, push and shove a little bit more, and like Lockett does. Could make a really good full forward. There's Richardson. Out it comes to Carlson. He's got it. Hand pass back it towards centre half forward. Frank Coughlin to Bradley Gotch and Little Bradley on half-back flank. We're at the 18.5-minute mark of the final quarter. 3 goals, 5 the difference, so it's not impossible. And what a couple of quick ones. Been saying that right throughout the day, and they haven't been able to do it.
They won't give up though, Pete.
No, they try hard, but really they've fallen down on the forward line, Bob. They've had plenty of the play, the Bears.
29 scoring shots to 21 in favour of St Kilda. But the Bears, week in, week out, you get the impression that they're going to be overrun, but they never ever give it away. And today is no different. They're still in there with a chance, with 86 to 109, 23 points the margin, and so they're always a chance. Burns, and I don't know, maybe I'm just lucky with Greg Burns, but I don't think I can remember once, probably in the whole time I've seen him play, as he played a poor game.
Well, Burnsy's got a lot of ability, Bob, and unfortunately I don't think he's used it to the best that he could possibly have done throughout his career, but he has played some great games for St Kilda, Greg Burns.
And he's a smart man. He's a trotting driver. And getting behind the salt, he doesn't have to walk so much. He's not all that quick, Greg. There's Micken from centre wing. Big heart, though, Greg Burns. He and Joffa Cunningham have been stalwarts down there for years. There's the kick by Danny Frawley. Towards centre wing. Oh, clever mark, Spiro.
He's had a great game, Corporate, I think.
He has
played well.
Guys, he'd be trying like heck too. He spent all the start of this year in the seconds for St Kilda. Now let's see if they can get it down and get a goal. There's Mark with us, too slow getting rid of that one. That's his weakness, Mark. He's a gutsy little player, great skills, but just lacks a yard. Up towards low again. Good play, Reynoldsson. Now, who can get it? Micken does the roving. That was good play. Now, long kick as he brings it to the full forward line. Cameron O'Brien flies from behind. Coghlan, good play, Frankie Coghlan. Beautiful defensive play. Look at that. Out to Stuart Lowe. Reynoldsson caught 20 metres in front. Where's Lockett? Oh, well, was it meant for Marku or Lockett? Well, Marku gets it, a lovely little chip pass.
I thought that was meant for. What did you think, Pete?
I wasn't sure at first. What do you reckon?
Well, I just thought he was looking for, or waiting for
so he's looking at Lockett.
And then he just saw Marku in the corner of his eye to finish, I think.
So Alex Marku puts the ball goalward. Nice piece of shepherding, and Alex Marku kicks his 4th goal.
Well, that certainly put the issue beyond doubt now, although the Bears, as we've said before, certainly don't give up. But I think that gap will be too hard to peg back. And Frankie Coghlan coming out of that half-back line there, looked for Lowe, who was left unattended by Reynoldsson, and a little chip into Marku, and the result was the goal.
Warren Jones coming off.
And shaking hands as he walked round the boundary with about 5 people. Is that character?
Warren Jones off the ground, so Stuart Lowe goes into the ruck. And I've been very impressed with Stuart Lowe today.
He's going to be a good player, isn't he?
He's only 19, Peter, and he's got a big future in front of him.
Look at the build on him. Heck.
Colossus.
Stuart Lowe doing the ruck work this time against Mark Micken. 22 minutes we're approaching. Micken wins the tap, taken by Withers. A quick hand pass out there to Reynoldsson. Reynoldsson puts it out in front of the speedster in Campbell, and Campbell shows just a little bit of that speed. Drives the ball towards centre half forward with a lovely kick. Robert Neal, nearly a one-hander, tapped it down to Coghlan. Coghlan taps the ball out wide. Barker forces the ball forward, and it was missed the first time by McConville, but back there to scratch a Neal. Neal puts it forward. A kick in mid-air. It's hard to kick at a moving ball, and Williams couldn't do so. Micken got the ball out to McCarthy, who puts it wide, looking for Jeff Rains. Through comes Neal. Scratcher Neal does well to take the ball away. Hand passes it forward. Over the boundary line it goes. 22.5 minutes have ticked away. 86 to 115 in favour of St Kilda.
Well, I think Jeff Rains has put in so much effort in this quarter. He looked exhausted running for that ball.
He's gone.
Well, it's been a warm day. It's been about 20 degrees and not easy for the players. And here's a bloke that doesn't seem too tired. Bradley Gotts, beautiful chip pass. Burnsy's been a good player, hasn't he? He's been here, there and everywhere. And off he goes. Kicks it wide. Winmar from behind. Waited for his teammate, but he didn't come. Campbell, I reckon Campbell's been a good player. Over to Gibson. To Judge. He's been pretty quiet, Kenny Judge. But he'll take a few more games, I think. Harris been excellent. He's kicked 5 goals, and it's not a bad effort. To Bretton Phillips on the half-forward line. He centres it. Who's there? Cameron O'Brien, 2-on-1. And the mark is at Stuart Lowe taking the mark down at full-back. Yes, it is.
So Stuart Lowe from the last line of defence. Wobbly-looking kick straight to the opposition, and Mark Withers takes it. Comes straight across the ground. Not a well-placed kick. Williams takes it. The hand pass across to Michael McCarthy. Back to Williams. Snap towards goal. Lowe once again is there. Plays on immediately. Has got the loose man up the ground in John Peter-Budge. And, well, it should have been a mark or a free kick for mine. And not good umpiring by umpire Cameron. Punched away. Bernie Harris. Can he kick goal number 6? Snaps towards goal, but he's offline. 1 point the result.
I think umpire Peter Cameron, I had a good view of that. He just got caught behind a couple of players, and I don't think he could see that, Mark.
I think he missed it altogether.
You'll say nothing against these two umpires.
No, he should have seen it, but hang on, Bob. Back pocket is Nathan Burke, but he really did. He couldn't quite see it, but it was a mark. There's Peter-Budge. Always impresses me, this player. And you mentioned Burns. I don't ever see this bloke play a bad game as he brings it towards the centre wing, almost a mark. The skill was round the neck. It should have been to Manning. Centre of the ground. Rains has had a good last quarter as he brings it towards the pocket. Here's a chance. I think they would have been better off Judge taking that mark, because no offence to Micken, but Judge very rarely misses.
What do you mean, no offence?
Well, what I'm saying
you
is...
virtually said he can't kick.
what I'm saying is Judge is a great kick. Now, let's see what Micken does with it. There you are. O'Brien couldn't take the mark. Now it's right in front of the Bears' goal. I hate to be proved right again, Bob, but I think Judge would have kicked that.
I think you're right too, Pete. Ken Judge is a lovely kick. Mum and Dad are there, quite happy. 25.5 minutes have gone. The clock ticking away as far as the Bears are concerned. Over the boundary line it goes, and little Bradley Gotch in the thick of things once again. Has rode excellently throughout today's game. Low. O'Brien just lost it at the last minute. Coghlan was held, and just as Judge picked the ball up, the umpire decided it was a free kick to Coghlan. He's looking for the hand pass, puts himself into a bit of pressure, goes short and finds John Peter-Budge. Back to Scratcher Neal, who taps the ball forward, puts it on again, hoping for Nathan Burke. Can he keep it in play? Yes, he does. Holding it out over the boundary line. Then the youngster speeds up towards the wing, goes towards half forward. Winmar's there, but Campbell takes a lovely mark.
Been a great effort by Campbell, I reckon.
Yes, Winmar got on top for a while in the third quarter, but otherwise Campbell's been well on top. Phillips gives it across to Mike Richardson. Richardson across to centre half forward, but Lowe's in the way. Another case of a poor piece of disposal by the Bears.
But in all fairness to Mike Richardson, the movement on the forward line was non-existent. No one just ran to a space. John Peter-Budge, another good mark. Good player, this kid. And umpire Forster says play on now as Gotch. Now, Bradley Gotch is normally a magnificent disposal of the ball.
Yes, but he was on the wrong side when he took the hand pass. And
he's a left footer.
Being a natural left footer, hooked it, and over the boundary line it went. There's another left footer puts it forward, and that was Withers. Punched away. Robert Neal, who's been an excellent player for the Saints today, drives the ball long. Once again, Campbell's there in the way, standing strong in defence. Hand passes across to Philip Walsh. Walsh being told by Banfield that he's clear. Lovely piece of shepherding by Banfield allows Walsh to run right into the centre. Long kick towards half forward and a lovely mark to Cameron. Or Cameron O'Brien, I should say. Gives a hand pass across to Judge. Judge puts the short kick forward. Called play on by the umpire. A beautiful tackle. And then now David O'Keefe comes out. Hand passes it back to Mark Williams. Throws the ball out in front of him. He's then tackled. Loses it. Trevor Barker shows his experience. Comes up towards half-back. Puts it up towards the wing where Andrew Manning leads in the race for the ball. Has all the time in the world to pick it up. Now he straightens, comes across towards centre half forward. Philip Walsh is in the way, can't take the mark. Evans comes through. The hand pass from Evans on to Rice. Rice now walks around, straightens up and goes goalward. Through for full points.
That was a good goal there for St.Kilda. Started off with Trevor Barker's fine tackle over in the half-back flank, and they worked the ball well down to Manning as we see him turn the ball back into centre half forward, and Tony Evans there getting the ball on Dean Rice, and he made no mistake, pushing his way around the Brisbane Bears defender, and a fine goal.
Well, I think you can mark that one down to Trevor Barker. That was his tremendous play, as you said, Barry. 13-9, plays 18-13. This is a comfortable win in the finish. I think that back line for St Kilda has been absolutely fantastic. That's been the pressure on the opposing forwards that has done the trick. There's Raines, had a good last quarter. Now O'Brien should fight hard for this, but McConville very experienced. Judge, hand pass, Bertie Harris, in he comes, bang, and there's another one to little Bernie, and that's goal number 6.
He's had an absolute picnic down there today, Bernie Evans, and he certainly is the Brisbane Bears' best player. And unfortunately, all too late for the Brisbane Bears at this stage. Raines clearing the ball out of the centre, down into the full forward position. The ball's thumped away, and Harris, moving clue, collects the handball and kicks an easy goal.
Kicked 3 in the first quarter, 1 in the second, and he's put 2 on the board in this final term. Bernie Harris. And there's the stats for Bernie Harris. 16 kicks, 5 handballs, so that's 21 possessions for 6 goals too.
Good effort.
And that's a good effort by Peter McKenna. Sees the final scores as the siren sounds. Brisbane Bears 14 goals, 9, 93. St Kilda 18-13, 121.
It was a good result for St Kilda today, Bob. I think I felt that they have improved their